Revealed to the public last night Alexandra Kane would be entering the villa, following the appearance of Idris Virgo and Keira Nichols. On entering the show, Alexandra explained she has her sights set on two boys in particular and said, "I'm setting my sights on Josh. He is so my type looks-wise. I feel like Dr. Alex could be a good match for me. I feel like we'd have some really in-depth conversations. I'm knowledgeable, he is knowledgeable. Hopefully I can bring out his personality a bit. I'd like to get to know him." Viewers will see her enjoy two brunch dates, and she will choose Dr. Alex George and Jack Foster. Alongside that, following a conversation with Idris, Alexandra's head is turned and considers him to be a Jack Fincham and Donnie Dyer have been fan favorites throughout Love Island so far this year. But although their relationship seems to be flourishing, should they really be with someone else? Likewise, Casimir Crossley and Josh Denzel are enjoying the honeymoon period of their time together, but they may be better suited with other members of the show. A Solar Chinter study has revealed all of the contestants' star signs, and what it reveals may shock fans. And with Love Island imminently coming to an end, could the contestants recouple in the final week of the show? Despite Jack and Donnie continuing to get on famously, Jack is a Taurus, and would be best suited with Laura Anderson, another Taurus. He is also a perfect match for the recently booted out Laura Crane, who could set her eyes on Jack this week. Meanwhile, Donnie has her pick of eligible bachelors throughout the villa. According to the star sign chart, Donnie is best matched with a number of Islanders including Wes Nelson and Sam Bird. She is also an excellent match for ex-Islander Aya Booker, who could still arrive back on the show. But does this star sign information reveal what will happen to the favorite Love Islanders? Meanwhile, Dr. Alex George finally found love last week when Alexandra Kane arrived on the island. But that could be extremely short-lived, as his star sign spells disaster with his new beau. In fact, he is better suited to Megan Barton Hanson, who is currently with Wes. But could Dr. Alex really bring the end of Megan and Wes's raunchy relationship? It was recently revealed that presenter Caroline Flack doesn't have any set dates or times to arrive at the villa. Speaking to Radio Times, the head of ITV2 Paul Mortimer said, "Caroline will get her passport out and fly out if there's a reason for her to be there." Caroline herself explained, "We have to wait for certain times that I can walk in. It's really late. We have to wait for the public vote, which usually ends and we're an hour later here as well, and by the time we've done the vote, written the script and everything's changed, it's 1 a.m. Love Island contestants Jack Fincham and Donnie Dyer made it through the competition relatively untouched. Their popularity means they could storm to triumph tonight, but in this evening's episode, fans will get to see one more cute moment between the pair. Each contestant is asked to write a love declaration to their partner, and after some initial hesitation, it seems everyone managed to write some caring words. But Jack and Donnie find themselves completely overwhelmed by the moment and end up crying through the sweet moment. Donnie goes first, and confesses she didn't expect to find someone like Jack. She gushes, "Jack, when I first entered the villa 8 weeks ago, I never imagined that in a million years I would have met someone as special as you. From our first date together on the beach, to our trip in a hot air balloon, we have already made so many special memories, and I can't wait for even more. I have had the summer of my life in here and I owe so much of that to you, Jack." And almost overcome with emotion, Jack reveals his real thoughts. Choking up, the stationery salesman says, "You are everything that I've ever wanted in a girl. Getting to know you and fall in love with you has been one of the most wonderful things to ever happen in my life. Firstly, you are an absolute sort. You are so caring and selfless, You have such a beautiful smile. When I see you happy, it makes me feel a way that I've never felt about someone before." And the other couples share their love for each other as well, with Megan Barton Hanson and Wes Anderson admitting they are shocked by what they have found in each other. Megan gushes, "Wes, I've never felt this way about someone before. I love waking up to you every single day, and I can't help but fall more and more in love with you. You love me for me, and that's a really special feeling. The moment you told me you loved me on the terrace was the highlight of my time on Love Island." Wes adds, "It's been amazing to see you grow as a person. I'm so excited to see what our future holds. What I can definitely promise you is that I'm madly in love with you, and I'm falling even deeper every day. But who will take the crown? Will Jack?" After tonight's episode of Love Island saw a brutal display of tweet bingo, Jack and Donnie reconvened to collect their thoughts. During the game, the fan-favorite couple were likened to siblings by the public's tweets. Although the pair disagreed with the sentiments, they felt obliged to confirm that they didn't feel that way towards each other. They went on to discuss how many people Jack had slept with after it also came up in the game. Luckily for Jack, however, Donnie claimed she didn't care about the number. She explained that she wanted him to be honest about his past. Donnie later went on to add, "You're going to have to confront my dad about it." Jack smirked and replied, "Yeah, I will when the time comes." If Danny Dyer does arrive in the villa later on in the series, could the pair finally come face to face? If Jack did meet his future father-in-law, they may get on, as Jack confessed his feelings for Donnie earlier on in the show. In an emotional admission, "I've said to people that I love them, but I've never felt like how I feel in myself about you. I love you. I do. I am excited. I feel like I've changed, and I feel like a big part of how I've changed has been meeting you. You've helped me, and I feel like you are what I needed. I'm getting emotional. I feel like you were exactly what I needed to meet at this point in my life." Meanwhile, Idris and Kieran may have hinted they will be returning to the show. In their final interviews before leaving the villa, the pair spoke about returning to the show later. When asked if he would go back, he said, "Yes, I'd want to crack on more." And this year's series of Love Island is only 4 weeks away from the final, where one couple will be crowned the winners of the ITV2's reality TV show. And Jack, who has been coupled up with Donnie Dyer since entering the villa back in June, had a secret link with the show before appearing on this year's series. A fan of the show discovered the company Jack works for, DMG Office Supplies, makes the famous Love Island water bottles that viewers can buy from the show's official shop. It comes after the stationery company posted a video on their official Twitter account last week showing a series of personalized bottles on offer. Alongside the clip, they wrote, "All these Love Island bottles are coming home to all of our lovely customers. Head over to our website to see how you can claim your very own bottle." In response to their tweet, one Twitter user wrote, "I've just accidentally discovered that Jack off Love Island works for the company that makes the show's specially designed water bottles, and now my head is blown." However, it has recently been revealed by the company that while they make and supply the water bottles, they were only gifting the water bottles to their customers in support of the show and their employee Jack. Jack's official Twitter account cleared up the confusion and wrote, "Great investigative work, but they are not the official supplier of Love Island bottles, but since the show started they are giving new and existing customers them as a gift." At DMG_office. The Twitter user who originally realized the link responded saying, "I think my tweet last night was a joke, but very happy to be corrected by the nicest guy in the #Love Island Villa #Yanni." Fans have recently seen Jack and Donnie become an official couple, after the former asked the daughter of EastEnders star Danny Dyer to be his girlfriend a couple of weeks ago. Love Island viewers have seen the couple become stronger following Jack's ex, Ellie Jones's arrival just over a week ago. When Casa Amor reopened its doors, the original boys and girls were split. The boys were sent to Casa Amor where 6 single girls, including Ellie, joined them, whilst the girls stayed in the main villa and were joined by the arrival of 6 new boys. Following the increase in contestants in both villas, ITV2 producers organized a double couple dumping, where viewers voted for their least favorite couple and saw Adam Collard, Daryl Sargent, Ellie and Alex Miller sent home. And more recently, fans have seen the tension in the villa rise after Singleton's Georgia Steele and Wes Nelson were sent on 2 dates with people of their choice. Georgia chose Sam Bird and Jack Fowler to take on dates, which resulted in her recoupling with Sam and kissing Jack, which left Laura Anderson fuming. Jack discussed his date with Laura last week, revealing Georgia had kissed him. Unhappy with the news, Laura asked Georgia about the kiss, however she insisted it was mutual. Viewers recently saw the friends fall out, with Ellie Brown joining the heated argument, and sticking up for Laura. Last night, it seemed the girls had kissed and made up, however, when they were sent out of the villa for a spa and sangria afternoon, the conversation quickly turned to the kiss and the atmosphere returned to frosty once again. All the male contestants were subject to the trial with the questions written by their partners in Monday's installment of Love Island. Donnie asked Jack if he would be tempted by girls on the outside, and while Jack replied no, the test said he was lying. Subsequently, Donnie wasn't very happy and the pair were seen having a rare falling out on the ITV2 reality show. Today saw Jack's pals Dane Goodson and Casey Batchelor appear on Good Morning Britain to discuss the pair. Former celebrity Big Brother star Casey began, "No woman wants to hear that, do they? That your partner might be tempted. But I think she might have been a little harsh on him. He said he wants to spend the rest of his life with her, have children with her, he loves her." Dane then chimed in, "I think Donnie's just so worried already about what's going to happen if Jack does anything outside. I don't think she should worry about that. She should enjoy it and chill out a bit more." Last night saw Donnie and Jack back to their usual selves as they were seen kissing and making up. Jack told his beau, "The only thing I can say to you is that when we leave, you'll see that you have nothing to worry about. You really have got nothing to worry about. Essentially, I love you, I want to be with you. And I want a family. That's what I want out of us too. And I'm so happy that I found it. So I'd like to just put that to bed." Donnie was later seen in the beach hut, revealing how they had both calmed down. The 21-year-old said, "I felt like we were both calmed down this morning, we slept on it. I think in a relationship, if anything's bothered you, or upset you, say it there and then move forward from it, and then work around it, rather than just attacking each other." Jack and Donnie have been strong favorites to win with bookmakers, but viewers will have to wait and see. Love Island fans have been enjoying the ongoing dramas on the ITV2 reality show. Grace Wardle and Frankie Foster were brutally dropped from the villa after being labeled the least popular on the island. And as 2 left, 2 arrived, as viewers got a tantalizing first look of the new homes. Kieran Nichols and Idris Virgo donned their swimming shorts for a stint on the Island of Love, and it seems they are looking for a lifelong partner. The pair admitted in their pre-entry interviews how Casimir Crossley is the girl for both of them. When asked to hide fancied the look of, Kieran, 26, admitted, "Hopefully I can get on well with one of the girls in there and build a connection with them. I want to spend time with someone who is going to make me want to spend time with them. In the villa, I've got my eye on Kay's in terms of looks and personality. She has her head screwed on and she knows where she wants to be, and that's a trait I look for. Megan is also pretty hot. Maybe she might meet someone like me who will tame her, the personal trainer admitted. He went on to explain how there was nothing to stop him stepping on each other's toes. Meanwhile, Idris, 25, from Birmingham believes he will be the one to get Kay's. The boxer explained, "I'm looking for a soulmate, a partner in crime, a long-term partner. I've got my eye on Kay's, Georgia and Samira. I know some of the girls are coupled up, like Kay's with Josh, so it would be a challenge with her, but I'll find a way of stealing Kay's because she is my type. I don't mind stepping on people's toes. But will they manage to split up Kay's and Josh? Or will another girl catch their eyes?" Frankie also admitted after being dumped from the island how Josh and Kay's are the most likely to get married, so will this put a spanner in the newcomers' works? Love Island continues tonight on ITV2 and Jack Fincham and Donnie Dyer have been firm favorites to win ever since Love Island began. And while it looks as though it's likely for the pair to claim a victory, there may be some big competition. Final day odds have placed Jack and Donnie as the pair most likely to win by bookmakers Paddy Power. The bookies have the Lovebirds at 1-14 to triumph on the ITV2 reality show. However, Paul Knops and Laura Anderson have seen a huge surge in bets coming in for them as their odds have been slashed from 40-1 right down to 13-2. Could Paul and Laura be on for a last-minute win? A spokesperson for the bookmakers told Express.co.uk, previously, Jack and Donnie would be an unfortunate East London expression, now it's just a very fortunate East London couple. They've been winners of Love Island since the moment they coupled up, and are hugely odds-on to land the £50,000 winner's check. We've been inundated with bets on the pair, and I reckon it's about time Danny Dyer went out and bought a hat. And a new poster for Jack's wall. But if Paul and Laura come out on top, it certainly wouldn't be the first time viewers have been surprised by an unexpected success. Back in the first series of the reality contest in 2015, John Clark and Hannah Elizabeth were favorites to win. Like Jack and Donnie, the pair had been coupled up since the first episode. However, they were pipped at the post by Jessica Hayes and Max Morley. Meanwhile, for this year's show, Casimir Crossley and Josh Denzel sit on 14-1. But looking least likely to claim the crown is Wes Nelson and Megan Barton Hanson at 16-1. Whoever the eventual winners are, they can look forward to a hefty sum of money. In previous years, the couple have been presented with a choice regarding the £50,000 jackpot. The duo decide whether they wish to choose love or money. They have the chance to share £50,000, or one of them can steal it for themselves, but all winners thus. After spending their first night together, Laura gushes, "I feel fabulous with Paul in my bed." Paul's very affectionate. That's what you want, you just want someone to want to be all over you. Wanting to know more about his past, Laura asks about his previous jobs. However, she is not prepared for Paul's revelation. "When I was in Louisiana, I think it was one of the first jobs I did out there, they called me up and said, 'Paul, do you fancy doing a music video?' Paul explains. And I was like, 'Oh yeah, cool,' and I said, 'Who's it for?' And they were like, 'We're not supposed to tell you who it's for. You have to go for a casting for it, but it's for Whisper, Britney Spears.'" Paul goes on to reveal that he locked lips with the singer. "Was she single?" asks Laura. Paul replies, "She was single. Not that that even matters because it was a job." In the video, I got pulled aside by her and then she basically just chose me to be the lead guy. Are you trying to tell me that you snogged Britney Spears? Gasps Laura. Paul explains, yeah. But it's in a video. Meanwhile, Laura's ex Jack Fowler moves on with Laura Crane. The pair head out on a date together and Jack reveals she is the first girl he's felt a real connection with. I'm a little bit nervous, if I'm honest with you, going on this date, he admits. The reason for that is, because it's the first date I've really had with a girl in here that I care about. I've been on 2 previous dates, but this is the date that means the most to me. Laura later reveals, the date was so good. It was just so nice to... Tonight's episode of Love Island will allow viewers to see that Jack and Donnie aren't the only couple picking up the pieces off the back of the lie detector. Megan Barton Hanson will open up to Wes about her feelings of self-doubt after he was revealed to have lied about wanting to introduce Megan to his parents during last night's tense show. Megan's insecurities were clearly at the forefront of her mind after the lie detector. Questioning her own self-worth, Megan will admit her ongoing concern about how WE's single-quote parents will react to her. She confessed, I know deep down if you had a son that was good at everything like you are, and smart and intelligent, would you want them to come back with a girl that's done glamour modeling and stripping? Or would you want them to get with a girl who's smart like a doctor or sensible Sally who works in an office? Do you know what I mean? Megan will later admit she remains self-conscious about her past jobs. The 24-year-old will be heard to say, you know that I'm embarrassed of my past and stuff. I know I'd be the same, if I had a kid or if my brother brought a girl back that had done the jobs I'd done. It's not ideal, but that's not all there is to me. I'm a nice person. Wes is quick to offer Megan reassurance after her insecurities deepen. He insists Megan's background will have no sway on his parents' feelings towards her. Wes protests, I've brought someone home that's not in the stereotypical, idyllic role. Would my dad care about that? No. He's going to judge you on your personality. He's going to judge you on how happy I am, and how happy we make each other. Determined to shake off her latest bout of insecurity, Megan tells the beach hut the truth hurt. She explains, it's not WE's single quote fault. It's always been a massive insecurity of mine. I feel like if there was one question I really wanted him to be telling the truth on and it come back positive, it would have been the introduce me to your parents, are you embarrassed or not, and yeah, it did hurt. Love Island gets more dramatic by the week, and now it seems the ITV2 show could see its biggest moment yet. A brand new beauty is about to rock up to the Spanish villa in just a couple of hours, according to reports. The brunette in question is believed to be Stephanie Lamb, and The Sun has suggested she has been hiding in Mallorca ready to enter the show. What's more, the newspaper reports how she has a big connection to Love Island, having been the secret girlfriend of last year's runner-up, Chris Hughes. Her arrival on the show has not yet been confirmed, and ITV declined to comment when approached by express.co.uk. However, should she enter Love Island, it seems she would certainly stir things up. A source revealed, Chris and Stephanie have been dating on and off for 6 months. But this was an opportunity too good for her to miss out on, so she's gone for it. They added, Stephanie is geared up to cause some chaos in the villa. It's going to be hard for Stephanie, because everyone seems in settled relationships, but that's sure to change when she walks in. She knows Charlie Brake and Ellie Brown are having a tough time, and Georgia Steele and Sam Bird seem on the edge, so there's 2 heads that could be turned. Stephanie is a stunning girl, and wherever she goes, drama is going to follow her. It is thought Stephanie has been dating Chris on and off since January after he split with fellow Love Island contestant, Olivia Atwood. However, they have rarely been spotted together, and reports have come from mere speculation. Express.co.uk has contacted a representative of Chris Hughes for comment. Nevertheless, stunning Stephanie would be sure to fit in on Love Island, and is no stranger to posing up a storm in a bikini. Earlier this month, the beauty let her body do the talking as she squeezed her ample assets into a corset-fronted bralette. She kept her hands on her hips as she gave fans a glimpse of her enviable curves in barely their bottoms. And previous to that, Stephanie shared an all-bronze look as she teased her cleavage in a nude-colored bikini. Love Island viewers were left stunned last night as Samira walked out of the villa. It came after days of missing her partner Frankie Foster, and being left single following his dumping last week. In her exit interview, Samira spoke about her time on the reality TV show, describing it as a roller coaster which was at times very intense. She said, "It was absolutely amazing. I walked around pinching myself that I was there. But I feel like it was the right time for me to leave. I'm obviously devastated to be leaving my best friends, but this is the perfect time." Samira also discussed the people she formed a close bond with during her time in the villa, and in particularly revealed what she really thought about Georgia Steele. She commented, "I clicked with everyone. Everyone was my best friend. But I'd say Donnie Dyer, she is the best, most amazing girl. She always kept me positive. Georgia is super confident and bubbly, and that's exactly what she's always like. I love her. We got really close and I did feel for her with everything she went through with Josh Denzel, but she is happy with Sam Bird now. I love that girl." It came after an unknown source told Mirror Online Samira had left because she had enough of Georgia. ITV hit back at the claims and a spokesperson told Express.co.uk, "There is no truth to that story." Samira also spoke about her relationship with Frankie, noting he was the reason she left the show. "I've found what I wanted to find and it was Frankie, so I'm going to go and get him," she said. "I am really excited and also really nervous about seeing Frankie. All we know is our villa relationship, so I'm really excited to see how it'll work on the outside world and if we are compatible and do like each other as much as we said." Following Samira's exit, the remaining contestants were told a recoupling would take place, which would see the girls choosing which boy they would like to partner up with. Samira hinted Dr. Alex George could be saved from being dumped by new girl Alexandra Kane. She explained, "I really like Alexandra, she does seem really nice. And she was genuine about her feelings for Alex when she came in. Could this mean Idris Virgo and Keira Nichols will be dumped? Tonight viewers will see the result of who Alexandra chooses and who will leave." Love Island return. The Love Island finale will take place on Monday, July 30th. There are only 6 couples left and only one couple can win the £50,000 cash prize. One couple is expected to be dumped from the villa tonight or tomorrow. The teaser for tonight's episode revealed that the couples will become parents to lifelike baby dolls, which was a fan favorite last year. But fans are really wondering when the parents of the couples are going to enter the villa, especially Donnie's dad, EastEnders actor Danny Dyer. Is the lie detector test accurate? For the past 3 seasons of the show, the last week has been the most intense and the most entertaining for viewers. The last week of the show sees the contestants undertake a lie detector test, become parents to fake dolls, and participate in challenges that have reduced some of the islanders to tears. The part the contestants will be dreading the most is the arrival of their parents, who are expected to enter the villa this week. ITV has yet to confirm the exact date of when the parents will enter the villa and if they will, but it is expected to be any time now. Last year, the parents entered the villa during episode 42, the episode after Islanders look after their baby dolls. So going by episode content, the parents could arrive as early as Friday's episode. However, the past 2 years saw parents enter on episode 42, which has already been broadcast this season. Doubts have also been cast by fans if the parents will actually enter the villa this year, as family members have not yet flown to Mallorca and Danny Dyer was spotted in Disneyland, America. Nevertheless, there is still hope that the parents will enter, as this series is longer than previous ones. Express.co.uk has approached ITV2 for comment. Where is Love Island filmed? The parent everybody is talking about is the arrival of Donnie's dad, Danny, who has been watching the show and teased a few weeks ago joke that was going to the villa on his Twitter. He wrote, "I've only gone and made the shortlist for the TV Choice Awards. If you fancy it, whack a vote my way. Right. I'm off to the villa to sign my future son-in-law's canvas." Lovely. The tweet was made after it was revealed by Jack's ex-girlfriend on the show that he has a poster of the actor on his wall, something he denies. Donnie also asked Jack in the lie detector test if he got on with Donnie because of her dad's fame, to which he replied no. However, the lie detector revealed he was lying. So it will definitely be an awkward encounter for Jack. Megan will also be shocked to meet WE's single parents, who she is already nervous about meeting due to her insecurities over her past career as a glamour model. When is the Love Island final? Jack Fincham and Donnie Dyer are still the favorite couple to win the series this year, according to bookmakers across the board. They were the first couple to become boyfriend and girlfriend, and they have even said they love each other. They've been given odds of 1/7 from a number of bookies, including Coral. However, they face competition from new couple Josh Denzel and Casimir Crossley, currently at 5/1 on Ladbrokes. Third favorites are new on and off couple Alex George and Alexandra Crane, who Ladbrokes have put 14/1 on to win. With a dumping taking place on tonight's episode, Love Island 2018 ended on an unexpected note last night, as Grace and Frankie were booted out of the villa after receiving the fewest votes from the public. Two new boys, Kieran and Idris, joined the Islanders and got to work on trying to couple up with the girls. Kieran laid it on thick with Georgia, and Kaz and Idris had a flirt with Laura. The two had to pick two girls to bring on dates, with Idris choosing Laura and Kieran choosing Georgia. However, another unexpected constant was introduced tonight, with a new girl added to the mix. So who is new bombshell Alexandra? Our new contestants Idris and Kieran? Alexandra Kane is a makeup artist from Hertfordshire. The 27-year-old brunette is the latest girl to join the Islanders and was an unexpected addition to the villa this week. The self-described Joker already has her eye on Josh, which could spell some awkward times between her and Kaz. "I'd love to meet someone. I'm setting my sights on Josh. He is so my type, looks wise," she said. How to watch Love Island 2018 online? She may end up hitting it off with Dr. Alex, who she feels might be a good match due to them both being knowledgeable. "I feel like we'd have some really in-depth conversations. I'm knowledgeable, he is knowledgeable. Hopefully I can bring out his personality a bit. I'd like to get to know him." Alexandra says she's friends with all her exes, but is in two minds about monogamy. She said, "I read a lot about love, books from anthropologists and speakers, so my mind is frazzled with my thoughts on monogamy. I don't really know as humans if we are meant to be monogamous." Where is the Love Island villa? The way to her heart is by being a gentleman, and her biggest turnoff is someone acting too over the top. I love somebody with a personality, otherwise I feel like I'm carrying the relationship. I like someone who is just calm and natural, she explained. As for making friends, Alexandra says she hopes to be able to create some friendships in the villa. Burrs says there's no avowing stepping on someone's toe this late in the series. Why did Niall leave Love Island? I've got a lot of good, close relationships with girls outside of the villa. With girls, I am protective, I do like to give advice. I'm going to have to tread on somebody's toes at this stage. She added, I want to be as respectful as I can. I know I won't always please everybody, but I hope I create some good friends. Last night's episode of Love Island saw 22-year-old Samira leave the villa after days of feeling unhappy, deciding it was the right thing to do. Samira had coupled up with Frankie Foster, who was voted out last week with 2.5 weeks left to go until the series finishes. Samira, who is a dancer performing in London's West End, was one of the original contestants on the show and was one of the 6 left. She at first coupled up with Dr. Alex, but she felt they were better off as friends. The show, which has been running for 5 weeks so far, sees singletons enter a Mallorca villa for 8 weeks to find love. For weeks Samira was unlucky in love, but met Constance Frankie Foster after he entered as one of the 12 new cast members. He was eliminated on Monday, July 9th alongside Grace Wardle, and Samira was left distraught. Love Island 2018, WHO's new girl Alexandra. She decided to follow her heart and quit the show to be with Frankie. She told close friends on the show Ellie, Donnie and Megan, I've not had any connection in here with anyone, and I had little taste of that with Frankie, and it's gone abruptly, and I think I'd always be thinking what if. I woke up this morning and I thought, it's my time to go. I have to do this for me, I've never felt so strong. Meanwhile, Frankie has been responding to fans on his Instagram saying he couldn't wait to see her and posted a picture of her with a love heart emoji. Frankie also revealed to the Metro that Samira and he spent a night in the hideaway. Unfortunately, the scene never made the final cut. He said, it's weird for me because obviously, it's a big thing for everyone in the villa. Everyone was cheering us into the hideaway. Everyone was happy for us. It was a big thing for me and Samira. But yeah, it didn't get shown for one reason or another. But yeah, we did spend the night together. Love Island 2018, WHO are the new boys and girls entering Casa Amor? Fans were left upset that the scenes were not shown between Samira and Frankie, accusing the producers of favoring drama over romance. Viewers have also taken to Twitter saying airing the scenes would have potentially have made Samira and Frankie one of the favorite couples, and they would still be in the villa. Express.co.uk has approached ITV for comment on this story. Love Island 2018, where is Love Island filmed? Where is the villa? Jack Fincham and Donnie Dyer are still the favorite couple to win the series this year, according to bookmakers across the board. They were the first couple to become boyfriend and girlfriend, and they have even said they love each other. They've been given odds of 1/7 from a number of bookies including Coral. However, they face competition from new couple Josh Denzel and Casimir Crossley, currently at 12/1 on Sky Bet. Third favorites are on and off couple Jack Fowler and Laura Anderson. There has been a lot of support for Donnie Dyer and Jack Fincham, who have been firm favorites throughout Love Island. However, it looks as though they could be pipped at the post of the ITV2 reality contest. Looking back at past contestants, all signs point to none other than Megan Barton Hanson and Wes Nelson scooping the prize. The first installment of the program was won by Jessica Hayes and Max Morley, the second by Cara De La Hoyt and Nathan Massey, while last year saw Amber Davies and Kempston A claim a victory. Looking back at past years, 22.6 years old is the average age of a winning couple. Megan is 24 while Wes is 20 years old, bringing their average age to 22, meaning they're almost the perfect candidates to take the £50,000 prize money. But that's not the only sign, as the hometowns of the victorious couples also point to Megan and Wes for a triumph. Nathan hails from Essex, as does Kem, making it the place that has spawned the most Love Island winners. So, Southend-on-Sea resident Megan could make it a hat trick for the county. On top of that, former winners include models Jessica and Cara. As the most popular occupation for a winner of the contest, could model Megan also be set for a win? Viewers will have to wait until tomorrow's final to find out. Meanwhile, tonight we'll see the contestants take part in the long-awaited Meet the Parents episode. Donnie's famous dad Danny Dyer will appear via video to have a chat with his daughter and Jack. And it's clear he's bursting with pride for his eldest offspring. "Oh my God, I miss you," Donnie exclaims when she sees her dad and her mum Jo. Danny then admits, "No, listen, I will say, I got it wrong, baby. I told you not to do it. We're so proud of you, you are incredible. You're an absolute hero, babe." Donnie then asks Danny what he thinks of her boyfriend. He replies, "Babe, he's lovely. He's a prop," hailing as he does from a country whose president is promising to build a wall to keep out the Mexicans. Comedian Reginald has his concerns about borders, and for a professional funnyman, he was pretty serious about them in this program. Perhaps it's time for that. It's certainly time to stop laughing when a world leader describes the people from the country next door as being like vermin. Rather than dwelling on the terrible Mr. Trump too long, Reginald's mission was more to prove how false the idea of borders always was, using music as his launch point. In El Paso, Texas, he met up with a band who played a kind of Mexican music called cumbia that was, itself, not Mexican. It had come from Colombia, combining African drums with the flutes of the indigenous Indians. Crossing again into Lone Star, Texas, it had taken on a new form and probably had several others in its future. Elsewhere in the state, Cajunto music cobbled in the polka rhythms and accordion sounds of German settlers, creating a tradition that was neither one thing or another. A little bit Oompa and a little bit sombrero, but certainly not done justice by labels such as Latin or Mexican or even Tex-Mex. Even town planners made the point in their own way. In California there's a place called Calexia, and symmetrically opposite over the border in Mexico, a twin town called Mexico. California, Reg discovered, had the first border fence in 1909. But its purpose was just to stop Mexican cows from wandering over. That might be the only kind of fence that makes sense. Just after we took the motorway exit for home, we drive past a vast, overgrown roundabout where my dad would always muse about the outlaws hiding out there. "If there aren't any, then I bet there's a dead body or two," he would say. I'm not sure where he got this grisly idea, but it seems someone else had it too, as Unforgotten ITV began a third series with a pile of bones under the central reservation of a motorway. I was wondering how come a bloke digging up the M1 would have had such a keen eye for the shape of a human pelvis, but they explained that pretty swiftly by telling us he used to be a doctor in Iraq. It unfurled into quite a global story, what with the arm bones having a titanium plate that could only have come from Cyprus in the mid-90s, narrowing down the trail to one girl who broke an arm on holiday, aged 13, then vanished from her UK home 3 years later. with Nicola Walker and Sanjeev Bhaskar as the slightly odd, slightly mismatched, but not too much, cold case detective duo. This series somehow manages to be bleak without ever losing its heart. As DCI Cassie Stewart Walker rallied her troops to start ringing everyone who'd lost a teenage daughter in the mid-90s, a shiver passed through the room. A montage of the phone calls, harrowing and sad, reminded us what losing someone really means and that solving puzzles. A young man was spread-eagled in a flower-bed, surrounded by medics in day-glow garb, one of them pumping frantically at the man's chest. There was a desperation to it, certainly in the efforts of the medical team, and that carried on throughout the program in the stories of gang victims, gang members and their loved ones. The beginning was bleak. It was hard to get it out of your mind once you had seen it, and even more so when you learned the story behind it and its outcome. At the same time, you wondered if it, and things like it, shouldn't be on the screens more. So many young people seem to be drawn into a lifestyle presented in films and music videos as heroic and noble, even when it ended in death. Those films and videos don't show kids dying in flower beds, though, just the theatrical highlights. While it's clear the gang culture of America's West Coast has had an influence, it's wrong to think that's the whole story, as last night's bold and sensitive film pointed out. Many kids, like the tiny-voiced little gang recruit sitting on a sofa next to his mum, got involved not to be cock of the walk, but just to be protected. The gifts of designer clothes he received from older gang members seemed incidental, like the free pens you get when you take out an insurance policy. He kept trying to tell his horrified mom that he'd be okay out there, because of the people he was with. He wasn't posing, he was serious. The seriousness of the whole affair was picked up by the insightful filmmakers in a way precious few gangland-themed documentaries ever do. Young people described a kind of paranoid existence, governed by a towering set of ever-changing rules. Kasem Makran, a promising bloke, had lost his life not because he was in a gang or because he'd participated in a music video, but just because of the people he knew. A masked gang member offered his verdict like the priest of some weird cult, saying he was with certain people he wasn't meant to be with. Other people managed to feature in music videos, he added, without getting dropped. What a word, because they were moving correct. Moving correct. We think of the gangs as lawless, but it's the opposite. They're governed by codes that seem to grow stricter and more savage by the year. The older generations, such as the imam shaking his head in sorrow at Kasem's funeral, or the mother of C.J. McLeod, the boy in the flower bed whose life couldn't be saved, can only stand and weep. Fear is used to control people, as we know, but it's also used to flog stuff. An unusually interesting installment of Inside the Factory (BBC Two) took us into the history of the loo roll and how it was first advertised. The early campaigns were all about death and disease. Wipe with us, and you might not get typhus, was the general theme. As public health improved, they had to try a new tack, one that ended, ultimately, in the famous puppy running away with the toilet roll. It was to have been a boy, so Wonder Dad Evan was putting the kids to bed as his wife Faith got ready for a girls' night out, a precocious 9-year-old making comments about the dress she'd chosen, and bedtime stories interspersed with raucous ladies in a wine bar. There was one brief, tiny hint of something more intriguing as Evan Bradley Freegard snuck outside for a fag, and it looked like a desperate smoke rather than a cheeky one you might have when your other half wasn't around. That question mark moment was soon forgotten though as the next day dawned and we got into the standard breakfast sequence where Mum denies she's got a hangover and the suited dad flits through kissing everyone on the head. I began to suspect at this point that no show, Not even a really substandard BBC ensemble drama with soap reject actors would load on so much sugar-coated cliché in the first few minutes unless it was pulling a stunt. Delightfully, that was exactly what scriptwriter Matthew Hall seemed to have intended, a drama starting off cutesy but turning darker by the minute. Resisting pressure to go back to work after her third child, solicitor Faith found herself compelled to take on her husband's cases when he mysteriously bunked off for the day. The chaotic working mum scenes were thick on the ground at first, but they thinned out as the day wore on and as Faith, Eve Miles, began to realize that Evan, the man she had 3 kids and a business with, really had vanished. The supermarket TV commercial stuff of the opening faded away as Faith found fake eyes and wigs in the cupboard and went trawling deserted car parks in the night for a sign of her husband's car. I'm told by people who saw Keeping Faith when it originally aired on BBC Wales, that it gets more thriller-like next week. There are reasons to be hopeful. ITV's current police tapes strand, reconstructing murders with access to the interview recordings, rarely makes for a boring installment. It sometimes veers into sensationalism though, which can be distasteful when it concerns the brutal loss of lives and the lifelong grief of loved ones. Even with its title The Game Show Killer, Police Tapes, ITV, this program was giving multiple murderer John Cooper a glamour he doesn't merit. He was once a contestant on Bullseye, a fact only really worth cobbling into a nickname if it had provided some vital clue to his capture. We were told, later on, that cold case investigators make an audacious gamble to get the truth out of Cooper, almost 2 decades after his last double killing. This, again, was a bit of a fudge, a link between the gambles contestants made on the show and the risky strategy detectives took. It wasn't even that risky. It just involved putting a skilled female interviewer into a room with a man whose violence was mostly directed towards women. It also didn't work. Cooper's conviction was secured not by game shows or gambles, but by solid forensic lab work. It never really tried to explain the Nazca lines or spontaneous combustion or lights in the sky over Roswell, beyond the theories of a few who always had a bit of a far-out theory on everything. If it had tried to explain things, it would ultimately have ceased to be the unexplained, and that would have been no good to anyone. Nor would the Lethared binder, for that matter. I fear the Bermuda Triangle Enigma, Channel 5, is heading in the wrong direction, with the first episode devoted to showing how a particular patch of ocean can be especially prone to boats going down. Presenters Rick Edwards and Ortis Dale did a very good and workmanlike job of this, explaining how 3 storm fronts knit together in the million square miles of the triangle, reaching top speeds from their respective starting points in the Florida swamps, the Caribbean and the Atlantic. They showed us how so-called rogue waves can overcome the biggest of vessels in such a maritime region, and drew a clear and very reasonable link between pleasure ports like Miami and the amount of unskilled sailors who go missing after heading out from their deceptively calm waters without a clue as to what might happen if they find themselves in water less calm. These weren't so much secrets of the Bermuda Triangle as the down-to-earth facts of it. And when put next to people who still insisted on believing there were forces at work out there, along with energy fields and other such hogwash, it was obvious which side most people would plump for. Trouble is, most mysteries, once solved, are often very dull, and I for one would rather have some vague idea of a place in the ocean where things disappear all the time than the reality of a bit of water that just has a lot of storms and is visited by a great many stupid sailors. There's only really one mystery left to ponder, which is how they're planning to squeeze 3 episodes out of telling us there's no mystery. If he looked twitchy at the start of his 3-part adventure, Our Guy in Russia, Channel 4, was definitely showing the strain on the final leg, which had the likable lorry mechanic touring the closed zone around Chernobyl. A region the size of Derbyshire is still so radioactive that visitors like Guy and, bizarrely enough, a Belgian photography club who were on a pleasure trip there at the same time have to wear monitors that begin to glow an ever more eerie shade of green as the Geiger count goes up. I'm not sure how reassuring that was, and it didn't seem to have a calming effect on our Guy. At the root of it all, we were reminded more than once, was Cold War one-upmanship and the Soviets' desire to prove they could build the fastest, biggest, cheapest reactors. They could, in fact, by not making them safe, although when asked why their new reactor didn't have a special shield like all those ones in the evil capitalist West, the Soviets said they didn't need one. Though given an episodic treatment for the small screen, this further retelling of the 1967 novel beefs up the fantasy, dream-like element that was always there as an undercurrent. This is not a story about some girls who go missing at a picnic, but something far darker and paranormal, beginning when a mysterious widow purchases a mansion and starts a girls' school. Mrs. Hester Appleyard, Natalie Dormer, is not who she says she is, but neither version is the sort you'd want to look after your daughters. Being a bit of a mystery, to us and to the characters in the story around her, Mrs. Appleyard has no one to share her inner thoughts with, so they are mostly spoken out loud or to the sometimes visible ghost of whoever Mr. Appleyard was or might have been. Like just about every on-screen instance of characters speaking out loud in order to tell the audience things, Mrs. A's utterances are clunky and unconvincing. "They'll never find us here," she said, or rather signposted, as she took over the school. Later, when she heard that 4 of her pupils had vanished at a picnic, it was "here it is then, retribution." Gosh, whatever could she mean? Could things possibly be told with less subtlety than this? As for the teenage schoolgirls, a group of humans always being turned by writers and directors, usually male, into hormonal timobombs of danger and madness, the overriding mission seems to be less storytelling and more picture painting. The girls rarely walk anywhere. They glide in slow motion with their tresses bouncing and the sun making halos around their hair. They don't sit so much as form a tableau that looks like a painting. That's the pretty ones. The others are given none of that loving lens attention, nor given much to do except be dumpy and whiny. The music adds a touch of rock video to the whole affair and takes away all hope of it being a tale with substance. They haven't adapted the book into a TV series so much as turned it into a perfume ad. Lookalikes, C4, is like nothing I've ever seen before, and I don't mean that as a compliment. A structured reality show based around a real-life lookalike agency based in an Eastbourne chip shop? A sitcom that pretends to be a structured reality show based around a real-life lookalike agency, and using one instead of actors? I'm erring on option B at present, given that however good some of them are at mimicking famous types, Tim Oliver's version of Ricky Gervais doing David Brent, for example, and however identical some of them look to the people they're pretending to be, Ty Jones's Ed Sheeran, not one of them can act for toffee. At first I thought the flaw was down to it trying to do too many things at once, impersonating people, impersonating a type of TV show, trying to be a sitcom. But over the course of one episode I realized it was far simpler. Good comedy requires good acting. No acting means no laughs. Picks of the day drama, Keeping Faith, 9 p.m, BBC One. Do not be put off by the incredibly unimaginative title. This is likely to be one of the TV hits of 2018 and already proved incredibly popular when it was released on the iPlayer earlier this year. Do not expect explosive plot twists or harrowing developments, The beauty of this program lies in the depth of despair felt by central character Faith Howells, Eve Miles, left. Her pain comes when her husband and business partner Evan disappears. His sudden absence strikes deep into the heart of his tiny Welsh community and forces Faith to come back from extended maternity leave to defend a hopeless vagrant on shoplifting charges. Evan is played by Miles' real-life husband Bradley Freegard. Group of _ retail, super shoppers, 8 p.m. C4 and the last in the series Anna Richardson and Sabrina Grant left ask whether big brands' lifetime guarantees are as impressive as they sound when they are being pitched to us. They also look into why delayed trains can be more profitable to rail companies than ones that run on time, a timely subject in certain parts of the country. Finally, they question how pastas made with the same single ingredient can be up to 8 times the price. Group of _ gardening, Gardener's World, 9 p.m. BBC Two. The majority of gardens in Britain are showing the ill effects of the prolonged good weather, so seeing the pristine havens of Monty Don Wright and the GW team will remind us of lusher days. Don gives advice on water lilies as he catches up with maintaining his pond. He also has tips on planting herbaceous clematis and harvesting potatoes. For the ambitious gardeners out there, Mark Lane outlines how to create a cottage-style garden. Group of _ soap, Emmerdale, 7 p.m. and 8 p.m. ITV. Moria receives a distressing phone call and ends up rushing to the hospital as a result. And all this from a model whom The Sun dubbed the girl of the Thrillenium after she featured in a double glazing advert considered too raunchy by advertising standards. Then there's her personal life that has seen divorce and depression. Now she is happily single, for the first time. I've got time for me and my kids. It's a joy, and no stress. When we meet in a Hampstead beer garden, it's obvious that she is in a good place. Indeed, having studied counseling for several years, she knows this herself. At 47, she is excited to be back on the box for 4 weeks in our Shirley Valentine summer, on ITV, starting on Thursday. Set on the Greek island of Naxos, the series has been dubbed the older Love Island. Messenger doesn't like the description, but there's no disguising the fact that the celebrities on the show do go on dates. We don't dwell on this, as ITV isn't happy comparing the two. Call it what you will, Messenger is clearly delighted with the whole experience, with former weather girl Cyan Lloyd, lawyer Nancy Dell'Olio, TV presenter Aggie McKenzie, comedian Nina Benjamin, former model Lizzie Cundy, tennis presenter Annabelle Giles, and TV presenter Ingrid Tarrant. It was so unique and unexpected, she tells me over a glass of sparkling mineral water. The whole thing was fantastic, which I think will bring about some life changes. It was invaluable, and we really didn't know what we were getting ourselves into. And she has news. I did go on a date, really reluctantly, she says tentatively, then quickly adds, I was really worried about it, but it was okay. I was drag kicking and screaming. Do tell more. There are things I could say, but it would ruin the show. But I'm still in touch with all the people that were on the show. I got on with everybody. The show is about life, love and relationships, really. Messenger also reveals that it has brought about life-changing questions, but is also not willing to give anything away. I ask if we can look forward to a groundbreaking revelation at the end of the show. She smiles but says nothing. We talk about her counseling studies. Did you know, she tells me, that when you're in a situation like the Shirley Valentine show, we go into what's called group process. It's when you revert to how you were when you were a child. How did she behave then? I was a peacemaker. So there were rows? She's not saying, of course. People did connect in all different ways. I hope that translates on screen. She is working hard on her psychotherapy degree and talks about a 5,000-word essay she was tackling while she was in Greece, and how my horizons have been broadened by it. Melinda was born in Swindon and has worked since she was 16 in various roles, but it was 10 years later when she gave the world of double glazing some much-needed glamour, The Class Behind the Glass, and the world took notice. I've definitely had plenty of life challenges, you could say. There have been highs and lows. I feel I have lived about 20 lives in one. Does she have a strong work ethic? I think so, but I never questioned it. Just go to work. Work. I knew I wanted to create my own life, and whatever I wanted in life, I wanted to provide it for myself and not expect someone else to give it to you. She adds, growing up with not very much, I had the drive to go and get that for myself and to feel self-sufficient. She had her own house by the age of 20, she reveals. I was doing other things before modeling. I was an air hostess, and a manager. And then the modeling came into my world. And then my TV career. What was the peak of the modeling career like? It was insane. Completely mad, and I still can't really make any sense of it. It's a bit of a blur. It was like my entire world was thrust into a rocket and sent into outer space, and when I returned to Earth everything was entirely different. She adds, tellingly, I never really believed the hype or had my head turned by it. I just thought I'd been cast in a role which was not real. I didn't feel I was someone special. The hardest thing about fame is about how everyone else deals with you. As a glamour model, did she struggle to be taken seriously when she moved into television? I have no idea. I did 3 months of modeling for the Daily Star and The Sun, but I was also being interviewed on TV. I then got offered my own TV show with Freddie Starr, and within no time I was filming back-to-back TV shows. And that's been for the past 20 years. I was probably being judged left, right and center, but I was just getting on with it. I'm my biggest critic, anyway. But I had no idea. I was on a chat show. I'd had no training, but it lasted a year. She doesn't rule out doing I'm a Celebrity. Get me out of here. Or preferably Strictly Come Dancing. It's lovely. It's heartwarming, you learn to dance and you get paid, which is always nice. But my kids, she has 3, would like me to do the jungle, because they think it would be hilarious to see me suffering. But it doesn't take long for Cruise to answer his doubters. In the film's first big sequence, he leaps out of a C-17 transport plane at 25,000 feet. Skydives through a lightning storm and lands on the glass roof of a Paris club. Minutes later he is engaged in a bruisingly authentic 3-way fist fight in the club toilets with Superman star Henry Cavill and martial arts master Liang Yang. The eye-popping action scenes pile up. In Paris, Cruise hops on a motorbike to take part in one of the most stunning chases since The French Connection. In London, we see him jump off the roof of St. Paul's Cathedral and make a series of death-defying, and in reality, ankle-breaking, rooftop leaps to reach the Tate Modern Gallery. By the final reel he is hanging onto the landing gear of a helicopter weaving among the snowy peaks of the Himalayas. There are no signs of G, and you can't imagine where they could have placed a safety net. But it is not just the action scenes that make this the blockbuster of the summer. Mission Impossible 3 opened with Philip Seymour Hoffman putting a gun to the head of Julia Michelle Monaghan and asking Ethan to choose between her and the rest of the human race. Here, a similar moral dilemma triggers the plot. Ethan must decide whether to save his old comrade Luther Ving Rhames or prevent 3 spheres of nuclear material getting into the hands of the Apostles, the terrorist group headed up by the previous film's arch-criminal Solomon Lane, Sean Harris. Ethan plumps for his old friend, leaving the world facing annihilation again. To get the nukes back, he must work with Cavill's hulking CIA agent August Walker, team up with a femme fatale called the White Widow Vanessa Kirby, and track down shadowy figure John Lark. The mission, which he chooses to accept, also piques the interest of MI6 agent Ilse Faust, Rebecca Ferguson, who has unfinished business with Ethan from the previous film. And these are just the strands I could follow. Christopher McQuarrie's plot could be even more convoluted than Brian De Palma's baffling 1996 original, a film that was deservedly branded Mission Impenetrable by critics. My advice is to stop worrying about the plot and enjoy the action. In the end, all the strands boil down to a ticking clock, a pair of wire cutters, and one of the most spectacular finals in action movie history. You don't need to have seen the previous offering Rogue Nation to enjoy Fallout, but fans should appreciate how director McQuarrie's clever script forges links with earlier installments. The face-changing rubber masks return. Netflix has officially renewed Narcos for a 4th season and has announced that Michael Pena and Diego Luna will be starring in the new run. Season 4 was ordered back in 2016 when the streaming giant recommissioned 2 seasons in one go. Production on Narcos Season 4 is now underway, with filming taking place in Mexico City, Mexico. Stars Michael Pena and Diego Luna have moved from Colombia to Mexico. Netflix has not announced an official date yet, but it is expected to drop in September. A teaser was recently released revealing the casting, but didn't give much away about the plot. The death of location scout Carlos Montes Portal had previously cast doubts about the show's viability. Portal was found shot dead in his car in Mexico, where he had been scouting locations for the next season. Pedro Pascal, who plays Javier Pena, called the 37-year-old's death tragic, and said that the show could only continue if it is safe to do so. "We can't do it if it's not safe. We're talking about lives," he told TMZ. "If they want to do it, they'll figure it out in a safe way." According to Netflix, Season 4 is set for a comeback later this year. If Season 4 goes ahead, tradition dictates that it will be released in September 2018. The 2nd and 3rd seasons began airing in September in both 2016 and 2017 respectively. Narcos will hit the reset button once again, with a new drug cartel and possibly a new team of day agents. Netflix has confirmed that the series will explore the originals of the modern drug war by going back to its roots. It will chart the rise of the Guadalajara cartel in the 1980s as Felix Gallardo, played by Michael Pena, takes the helm. Javier Pena put the 4 Cali Godfathers behind bars in the Season 3 finale, but while doing so uncovered the true depths of Colombia's corruption. He learned that the Calis had effectively bought the Colombian government, having funneled money into President Ernesto Samper's campaign, a fact which the U.S. ambassador and the CIA both knew. When asked if he would go to Mexico to continue the war on drugs, Pena resigned and returned home to Texas. In the final scenes, Pena stood with his father and watched a boat full of smugglers bring cocaine into the U.S. "You can stand here for an hour and you'll count 20 of them going by," Pena Sr. said before asking his son if he would go to Mexico. Pena replied, "I've done enough. I'm through." Showrunner Eric Newman said that you can believe Pena's final words. "What's tragic about it is that you're losing truly one of the good guys," he explained, all but confirming that Pedro Pascal will not be returning to the series. Season 3 closed with a shot of the Rio Grande, confirming the action will move to Mexico. The new season will open with Kiki Camarena Pena as he moves his wife and young son from California to Guadalajara to take on a new post. He learns that his assignment will be more challenging than he ever could have imagined. A tragic chain of events unfold and so the new series kicks off. Newman said, "Past a certain point, and I think we've just reached that point in our show, Mexico became the kings of the cocaine game. You realize that you shut down the Miami Caribbean corridor where they were bringing all their cocaine in for years, and that cocaine is going to find another way in. Why not this country of 130 million people with a 2,000-mile border they share with us? That seems to make the most sense, and that's exactly what happened. There is definitely a natural passing of the torch to Mexico, who at the time were already very successful as heroin and marijuana smugglers. It makes perfect sense that you would employ what they call the Mexican trampoline to bounce cocaine into the States. Some have predicted that Sinaloa kingpin Joaquin El Chapo Guzman could be the series' next villain. At the height of his powers, Guzman was named the 10th richest man in Mexico by Forbes with a net worth of $1 billion. The magazine called him biggest drug lord of all time. Guzman rose to notoriety in the late 1980s and early 1990s, and was imprisoned in 1993 for murder and drug trafficking. 8 years later, he escaped a maximum security prison and evaded authorities until 2014. Neighbors will see many of Ramsey Street's residents in terrible danger over the next fortnight, as Finn's, played by Rob Mills, shocking revenge plot leaves them all in jeopardy. Alongside the gripping storyline which sees Finn deliberately run over Xanthi Canning, Lily Vandermeer, in Ellie Conway's Jodie Anasta car, he will also target Susan, Jackie Woodburn. When Susan and Ellie try to prove that Finn has framed the teacher for Xanthi's accident, he directs them to a shipping container. There, they will find Bonnie Anderson, who is semi-conscious. The trio will be trapped by Finn, who leaves them vulnerable and in complete darkness. Finn will not return and the women will be left struggling for several days. With no sign of help arriving soon, Ellie will be the first to become seriously ill, gripped by dehydration and despair and collapses. However, it looks like there is hope for the trapped trio as Mark Brennan, Scott McGregor, and Carl Kennedy, Alan Fletcher, track the missing women down. While Bea and Susan appear to have made it out unharmed, Ellie's life hangs in the balance as she's rushed to hospital for emergency medical treatment. Will Ellie be okay? And will Finn, who is now in hiding, still a threat to the residents of Arimsboro? Elsewhere, Sonia Rebecca, Eve Morey, will confront Andrea Fake D. Sommers, Madeleine West, as she tracks down the woman who wrecked her marriage and conned her out of cash. But their showdown will not be what Sonia expects, as Andrea is in a psychiatric unit and claims she doesn't remember anything about her life. Speaking to Radio Times, actress Eve spoke about the upcoming storyline, saying, "Sonia thinks Andrea is scamming, she has played this meeting so many times in her head. But a psychiatric hospital ward is such a measured, controlled and clinical setting, so there's definitely no cat fight. It's a very weird, subdued situation and Sonia must tread carefully." However, Toady Ryan Maloney finds out that Sonia betrayed him and went to see Andrea. How will he react to this news? The episode count has not been confirmed by Netflix yet. However, there is likely to be at least 13 episodes, which has been the norm for the past 5 seasons. Fans have been left in the dark over what will happen next, but it can only be assumed the episodes will follow the inmates in the new prison or various institutions they have been transferred to following a 3-day riot in Season 5. Season 6 has been titled To the Max, which may suggest inmates have been moved to maximum security facilities. What will happen to Piper, played by Taylor Schilling, if she survives the smoke bomb blast at the end of Season 5? Piper was near the end of her sentence with only 3 months left to serve. A potential Oitin wedding is on the cards as Season 5 saw Alex, Laura Prepon, and Piper become engaged. The new series will be released on Netflix on Friday, July 27th. The comedy-drama debuted on Netflix in July 2013 and has become Netflix's most-watched original series. Oitin is based on Piper Kerman's memoir Orange is the New Black, My Year in a Women's Prison, about her experience in a minimum security federal prison. The show was praised for its diversity, representation of the LGBTQ community, and its female-dominated cast. Oitin has received critical acclaim and has won 3 Emmy Awards. It has received 12 Primetime Emmy Award nominations since it began. Netflix has not released details yet of the upcoming series, but Season 6 will pick up on the major cliffhanger of Season 5, where inmates had engaged in a 3-day riot and taken to another prison on buses, saying goodbye to Litchfield, for now. Another cliffhanger saw a diverse group of inmates come together. Piper, Alex, Red, Kate Mulgrew, Nikki, Natasha Lyon, Gloria, Selena Slava, Tasty, Danielle Brooks, Cindy, Adrian C. Moore, Suzanne, Yuzo Arbuda, Blanca, Laura Gomez, and Frida, Dale Soules, who were waiting to be discovered by CERT officers in a bunker. Before viewers knew if they escaped, a smoke bomb went off, leaving us wondering if anyone survived. Other notable events saw Leanne, Emma Miles, and Angie, Julie Lake, set fire to inmates' records. This will have major complications if there are no digital versions. Linda, Beth Dover, an employee of MCC who found herself having to disguise herself as an inmate out of fear in Season 4, failed to convince the SWAT team that she was not a prisoner. Yes, a new trailer dropped this week. The clip shows the cast getting used to their new lives at a maximum security prison and the difficulties that come with that. Fan favorite Suzanne, Yuzo Aruba, also known as Crazy Eyes, will be back alongside sassy duo Tasha, Tasty, Jefferson, Danielle Brooks, and Cindy Black. Cindy Hayes, Adrian C. Moore. Newly engaged couple, Piper Chapman, Taylor Schilling, and Alex Voss, Laura Prepon, will also be back, and fans are hoping for a marriage in Season 6. Motherly figures Russian chef Red, Kate Mulgrew, and Big Boo, Lita Laria, will also return. Last season saw the death evil prison guard Desi Piscatella, Brad William Hank, who was shot accidentally by one of his riot men who mistook him as an inmate. Hopeless director of human activities but morally. Warning: this article may contain spoilers about Oitin Season 6 Orange is the New Black premiered on Netflix UK at 8 a.m. this morning, Friday, July 27th. Much to fans' delight, all 13 episodes are available to watch in the one go. Season 5 saw the inmates participate in a 3-day riot over the death of Still Miss Pussy, played by Samira Wiley, which was dragged out over 13 episodes. The riot finally came to a head in the finale, with terrifying security storming the prison and arresting the inmates. The riot did not end without any casualties, with guard Piscatella, Brad William Hank, being accidentally shot and killed by one of his own trigger-happy men who mistook him for an inmate. The problem and worry for the future of Oitin was such a dramatic and at times the far-fetched 5th season was how will Season 6 progress in its opening episodes? Thankfully, the show returned to its old roots of combining drama and quirky comedy, and this time making sure it works. What time is Orange is the New Black out? I saw nothing, Suzanne Crazy Eyes Warren says, staring directly into the camera in the opening seconds of Episode 1 of Oitin Season 6. Followed by a weird and at times funny fantasy sequence of Suzanne's hallucinations, Already the show is combining humor whilst simultaneously referencing serious issues faced by women in prison today. The fantasy sequence grants an insight into how bad Suzanne is suffering due to the bad healthcare provided by the prison, as she has been refused her medicine that controls her hallucinations and erratic behavior. Suzanne, alongside Piper, Taylor Schilling, Red, Kate Mulgrew, Tasty, Danielle Brooks, Nikki, Natasha Lyon, Daya, Dacia Polanco, Gloria Mendez, Selenium Leyva, Cindy, Adrian C. Moore, and Maria Ruiz, Jessica Pimentel, have been moved to a maximum security prison with the rest of the inmates spread out across other facilities. Season 6 begins with the interrogation of inmates about their participation in the riots that occurred in Season 5. The Department of Justice is trying to pinpoint which inmate is responsible for the death of the guard Pescatella and starting the riots, and the catch is that none of them are. Although episodes lack the exciting pace that characterized the first few seasons, it looks like Orange is the New Black is hopefully heading slowly back in that direction for Season 7. Will there be another series of Orange is the New Black? The show's famous all-female cast has some new faces introduced in the first episode: Sadistic Battison, played by Amanda Fuller, and Daddy Vichy Martinez, making it sometimes hard to keep up the growing ensemble. Recurring favorites from the previous seasons are not given enough time in the spotlight. Big Boo, Lita Laria, Maritza, Diane Guerrero, and Yoga Jones, Constance Schulman, make almost cameo-like appearances, which taint the show with slight disappointment. Eagle-eyed fans would have noticed in the Netflix trailers and teasers the absence of Alex Voss, Laura Prepon. Fans will need to wait till further in the season to find out her fate. Nevertheless, the absence of community that was present in the Litchfield camp is noticeable, but the family bond the women have has never been stronger. The new series has a more serious tone which can be tough to watch at times, but this time around it manages to almost keep the balance between humor and darkness. There are moments of hilarity from the inmates. The first episode featuring a cameo appearance from DJ Casper, famous for 2000 hit The Cha-Cha Slide Dancing with Season 4 inmate, Lori Petty. The first 2 episodes have most of the scenes featuring Latino characters Gloria and Blanca shot in Spanish, which adds a nice authenticity to the show. Where is Orange is the New Black filmed? Where is IT set? OITNB is known for its social commentary, and this season draws attention to important issues such as mental health, suicide and police brutality, all raised immediately in Episode 1. There is also reference to racism, the immigration policies of Donald Trump, Black Lives Matter and prison reform. The introduction of 2 rival sisters, Carol Henny Russell and Barbara Mackenzie Phillips, provides a new plot twist. However, their story highlights the harsh conditions for inmates part of American for-profit prison system and the opioid crisis in America. The first few episodes delve deep into the harsh realities of living in a supermax facility, such as overcrowding, violence and corruption. Be prepared for emotionally brutal moments and hard-watching scenes of misogynist, power-hungry prison guards who beat female inmates for no other reason than for their own entertainment. Season 6 has a much more realistic take on the prison experience, laced with hilarity, female empowerment, and political and socially charged messages. Orange is the New Black has never been more relevant, and Season 6 is something you don't want to miss. Orange is the New Black Season 6 is on Netflix now. Warning: this article contains spoilers from Our Girl Season 4. Season 4 of Our Girl will be coming to a close this evening, Tuesday, July 23rd, on BBC One at 9 p.m. A synopsis for the finale reads: Georgie, played by Michelle Keegan, is caught in the crossfire when another attempt is made on Inspector Chowdhury's Farzana Dua Lahi life, forcing her to re-examine her feelings for her captain. With Chowdhury's son Suman Imran Khan still missing, Georgie persuades James Ben Aldridge to call in special forces. A daring mission is conceived, but two sections find themselves in a deadly shootout with the drug gang to recover Suman and halt the Yaba trade. Fans have started asking about Season 5, but the BBC is yet to announce whether the program will be making a comeback. Any renewals, as always, are based on ratings, so viewers will have to wait and see. If Our Girl is recommissioned, it's likely the new series will be hitting screens in 2019. There have also been questions about who will be in the cast of the new season, which sees Michelle Keegan taking the lead as Army medic Georgie Lane. But who else will be in the cast? How many episodes are in Our Girl Season 4? Coronation Street and Pleb star Keegan is most likely to be back, take center stage as Lane. The rest of the cast is going to depend on how the season finale pans out and whether there are any deaths. However, Ben Aldridge could be back as Captain Charles James, along with Simon Lennon as Private Harry Brains Wiggerdy, Sean Ward as Private Fingers, and Sean Sagar as Private Jaden Monk Montgomery. Some of the other potential cast members could be Harky Bambra as Private Rab Khalil, Roland Bell as Platoon Sergeant Kinji King, and Patrick McNamee as Private Jason Ruby Curry. Where is Our Girl filmed? It seems highly unlikely that Captain Bones McClyde, played by Ollie Ricks, will be back after his character got killed off midway through the latest run. The Army officer met a tragic end while trying to defuse an improvised explosive device, which claimed his life. Bones' death left audiences across the nation heartbroken as the loss. In an exclusive interview with Express.co.uk, Ricks reflected on his departure from the drama, saying, "I was a bit d off, but I talked it all through with creator Tony Grounds. At the time he convinced me that was right for the show. Hilariously, we've spoken since and he said it's the worst decision he's ever made. So you never quite know how audiences are going to respond, and you've just got to take a risk with this show and get it right." WHO is in the cast of Our Girl? Ricks admitted that when he joined the show, he didn't know about the fate of his character, explaining, "It was a little bit open-ended, and then I think the production went through its own inner turmoil, because the producer changed after we finished filming in South Africa. I think the potential direction of the show and storylines were in play again and were a little bit up in the air. I was never really entirely sure what I signed on for, to be honest. I was having a good time and just rolling with it." Reflected on whether he could return, Ricks said, "I have no idea. Again, Tony's been talking about pulling a Dallas and bring me back from the dead. Or I could have a useless twin brother who's the complete opposite. But we'll see. These things are always open to discussion and weirder things have happened on TV." He added, "So, who knows? You never know. I'd be up for it. I'd be open to it." Our Girl series. Warning: this article contains spoilers from Our Girl Season 4. The BBC has yet to confirm whether Our Girl has been recommissioned. So the simple answer is that we just don't know yet, but any decision will be dependent on viewing figures. Express.co.uk has approached the BBC for comment on whether the programme will be returning. The first and second seasons of Our Girl consisted of 5 episodes each, but last year's Nepal tour had 4 installments and is referred to the first part of the third cycle. This year's Nigeria, Belize and Bangladesh tours consists of 8 episodes, making it the longest run to date. The Nigeria, Belize and Bangladesh tour are referred to as Part 2 of Series 3 and were filmed back-to-back with the Nepal tour. If Our Girl is renewed, it could potentially have another 8 episodes. How many episodes are in Our Girl Season 4? Our Girl has varied its premiere dates from September, October and June. The most recent run started in June, which means that the next cycle could be airing in the summer of 2019. However, its debut will be dependent on when the show gets the green light and when production gets started. The release date will also be affected by how long the series is and how many episodes there will be. Where is Our Girl filmed? The cast of the next season of Our Girl will depend on the outcome of the finale of the latest cycle, which airs on BBC One tonight, Tuesday, July 24th at 9 p.m. However, Coronation Street and Ordinary Lies actress Michelle Keegan is fairly likely to be returning as lead, and Army Media Georgie Lane. Ben Aldridge could be back as Captain Charles James, but then again, he could get the chop given his dangerous line of work. Also back in the frame could be Simon Lennon as Private Harry Brains Wiggerdy, Sean Ward as Private Fingers, and Sean Zagar as Private Jaden Monk Montgomery, who have been part of the show since the first run. Other potential cast members include Roland Bell as Platoon Sergeant Kinji King, Harky Bambra as Private Rab Khalil, and Patrick McNamee as Private Jason Ruby Curry. There are also likely to be new characters depending on the setting. The next run could go in any direction and will depend on what Our Girl creator Tony Grounds want to explore next. However, fans can expect more of the same as Georgie is thrust into further danger on new missions abroad. Speaking exclusively to Express.co.uk about working on the latest episodes, actor Ollie Ricks said, "I really enjoyed the military advisors that were on the show. I learned a lot about things I didn't know anything about." The star who portrayed Captain Bones McClyde continued, "There was obviously quite a lot of responsibility playing special forces. You need to kind of half look like you know what you're doing. The cast are lovely. I get on very well with Michelle. She was so welcoming, so friendly. I couldn't have asked for a nicer time, really." Reflecting on his character's relationship with Lane, Ricks explained, "I think we filmed very nicely. It was interesting because we didn't know where we were going, so we were on our toes the whole time. I think both of us felt that Lane and Bones might end up together, so we had a lot of the friction was, do they hate each other or do they love each other? Is it just about mutual respect?" There is no trailer as yet, but we'll update this article when one does drop. Our Girl Series 3 and 1-3 box set arrive on DVD the 30th of July. Outlander actor Sam Heughan, who plays Jamie Fraser in the Starz show, is now being tipped to play the lead role in James Bond. He is set to be in the running to take over from Daniel Craig once he departs the show for good. Bookmakers Coral have slashed the odds on Sam being the next James Bond to just 4-1. This is a massive drop from 25-1 where he initially started. The move from Coral came after a flurry of bets on The Scotsman while Outlander was filming for its next season. It has already been confirmed that current actor and 25th Bond, Daniel, will take on just one more film before handing over the reins to another actor. Coral's Harry Aitkenhead said, "We've seen an astonishing amount of support in the betting for Sam Heughan to be the next James Bond, and punters seem convinced the Outlander star will be transforming roles from a Highlands warrior to the Secret Service lifestyle of 007. Could this prompt Sam's exit from Outlander, or will he manage his schedules to suit both? Tom Hardy, at 2-1, and James Norton at 5-2, are the only two other actors who are currently ahead of Sam, according to the bookmakers. Season 4 of the Amazon Prime Video drama will feature one of the biggest changes for married couple Jamie and Claire Fraser, Catriona Balfe, yet. Fans saw star-crossed lovers Jamie and Claire wash up on the shores of the American colonies in Season 3's finale. Diana Gabaldon's book series adaptation could now see a spell of danger for Jamie and Claire as a person from his past returns. Scottish actor Sam, 38, has revealed bigger challenges on set have arisen in order to film upcoming scenes. Speaking to Cinema Blend, Sam said, "It just changes all the time. The show is incredible. We're ending our 4th season, and we're shooting as if we were in North Carolina at the beginning of America. It's a world with Native Americans and different factors, such as the British and the Scottish people, who were displaced by the British arriving there. We started Season 1 in Scotland in a castle, and we've since gone to Paris and Versailles, and then to the Caribbean. Every season is different. In fact, every episode for me on Outlander is different." Teasing the upcoming person from his past, Sam said, "America is a very new world, and for him to find a place to settle and home is. It's going to take some time, and there are a few surprises as well. People come back into his life that he's not expecting to see." The historic epic has gradually built up a dedicated following over the years, and yet the hugely talented cast have been consistently snubbed at the Emmy Awards ceremony every year. This year's nominations were no different, and the Jamie and Claire Fraser stars were left out in the cold as the full list of nominations rolled through yesterday. Season 3 of Outlander saw heartbreaking performances from the estranged on-screen couple, and it has been the star-crossed pair's most difficult time yet. The first 5 episodes of the time-traveling romance spanned 20 years, meaning the characters struggled through the harrowing reality of being apart. But despite dealing with such a difficult acting feat, the actors were merely given aging makeup to give a realistic portrayal of the passing of time. Their efforts were ignored at the most prestigious American television awards ceremony. Instead, HBO's mammoth fantasy hit Game of Thrones received a slew of Emmy nods. Netflix favorite The Crown picked up the slack, which could mean the two shows are set to go head-to-head when the ceremony airs in September. It wasn't all doom and gloom for Outlander, however, as the show's impressive costume department received 1 nomination. Headed by Terry Dressbach, the nod was for Best Period Costumes for Episode 5, which is titled Freedom and Whiskey. The episode saw the introduction of Claire's iconic bat suit, which was an outfit designed by the 20th century surgeon to get her safely back to the 1700s. The installment also featured an array of 1960s attire. With the bittersweet news, fans shared their conflicting feelings on social media. One person posted, "A tear or two may have fallen, but it is not over yet. At Outlander costume you've got this # Tothcar. I just keep wondering when will they notice Sam. He's been amazing since Season 1 and with Season 3. I had tears flowing. Kate, Sam and the show deserves an Emmy. No matter what, I will continue to watch # Outlander. Best show on TV." Another viewer shared. A third wrote, "Very happy for costume design, but seriously disappointed in lack of other # Emmy nominations for # Outlander. Another night I won't be watching." While a fourth wondered, "Well deserved, but what about other category nominations, Best Actor, Actress and Series? Sam Heughan deserves to win, let alone be nominated. Same people get nominated every year. Starting to wonder if Emmys are legit. # Outlander # Best Series Ever." One angry fan declared, "How could Sam Heughan and Catriona Balfe not be nominated for a # Emmy? Honestly WTF." At Outlander_stars. Outlander has never been one to disappoint and has been packed with twists and turns ever since season 1 of the Star's drama, as leads Jamie Fraser, played by Sam Heughan, and Claire Fraser, Catriona Balfe, navigated the drama in 2 centuries. Yet if the latest comments from the cast are anything to go by, season 4 will be the most surprising yet. Season 3 left off with Jamie and Claire washed up on the American colonies following a terrifying brush with death in the middle of the Caribbean seas. Since then, stars Sam and Catriona have revealed a historical romance's 4th offering will see the married couple finally get the chance to settle down and enjoy their life together, focusing more on carving a place at their new home Fraser's Ridge. Now Scottish actor Sam, 37, has revealed that while things can never be plain sailing for long, redhead Jamie will come across someone he hasn't seen for a long time. But will they be a family member, friend or foe? Sam simply teased, "America is a very new world and for him to find a place to settle and home is. It's gonna take some time and there are a few surprises as well. People come back into his life that he's not expecting to see." Viewers already know Jamie and Claire first stay with his Aunt Jocasta, Maria Doyle Kennedy, on her plantation, but judging by Sam's careful hints, the character will be someone to have a larger impact on the Fraser family. The actor went on to shed light on Jamie's hopes for his future going forward. "Claire and Jamie have been through so much it's kinda hard to keep track of," he continued to Entertainment Tonight, "but we finally get to see them as this married couple that are allowed to be together. All Jamie really wants is to settle down and become the laird that he's supposed to be, and in America he finds that place, with his true love by his side." In terms of how his character has changed over the course of his time on the Amazon Prime Video series, The Spy Who Dumped Me star revealed he'll always be a Scot, regardless of the shift in location. "Playing Jamie over the years, I've really grown with him," Sam went on. "And we've now seen him several decades older, and he's now a family man. He's matured a lot, but still at his center, in his heart and at his core, he's still that slightly fiery Scot that we all love." Jamie settles into his new existence easily, according to the actor, particularly because America reminds him so much of home. "The season has a real new look to it," Sam shared. "We're shooting for North Carolina and it is surprisingly similar to Scotland in many ways, maybe because we're shooting in Scotland, but it really does look like America. It's vast, big country, great mountains, great woods, and I think that's where Jamie really finds his home. It's somewhere that feels familiar to him, and it's a great place for them to build a base," the star added. Outlander Season 4. Outlander viewers have been eagerly awaiting spoilers on the star's drama's 4th outing, which looks set to be a fantastic adaptation of Diana Gabaldon's novel Drums of Autumn. Today saw Sam Heughan deliver a very important message in a video on the official Outlander Instagram account. The star revealed the series had finally completed filming in Scotland today, but there was a surprising twist. Catriona and Sam appeared to be sleeping when the Scottish actor suddenly said with a grin, "Wake up. Kate, wake up." Pretending to wake up with a start, the former model demanded to know what her co-star was bothering her with. "Because it's a wrap, we've finished," Sam declared. Seemingly stunned, Catriona went along with Sam's joke and pretended she had missed weeks of work on the show. "Oh my God, what?" she gasped, as Sam chuckled next to her. "Season 4, yes, you've slept through the whole thing. Oh great, so I can go home now," Kate then realized, enjoying the game. Sam agreed, and the pair continued laughing as they claimed they were heading straight off to watch the raw footage. Given post-production would only just be beginning, it seems unlikely the cast would already have had a screening. We hope you enjoy, and we're gonna go watch it now," Sam added before darting away with his co-star. While Catriona definitely didn't sleep through the whole of Season 4's production schedule, fans rejoiced at the hilarity in the pair's jokey announcement. The 30-second clip was posted alongside a caption that read, Outlander_stars at Catriona Balfe and at Sam Heughan are here to say, Season 4 has officially wrapped. #Outlander #stars. Catriona and Sam could be headed straight for a night of celebrating, as the former hinted the pair had already started in preparation for the time travel romance has continued to gain in popularity with American and British audiences alike over the years, primarily because of the incredible chemistry between lead Sam, who plays Jamie Fraser, and Catriona. Outlander Season 4 is set for some huge changes when it premieres this November, particularly because the Frasers have relocated to the American colonies. Considering half of Season 3 saw Jamie and Claire apart, it seems every installment of the Epic Stars drama will shake things up more and more. Earlier this week, Irish actress Catriona, 38, met the Duke of Sussex, 33, at a garden party at the British Embassy, so could it be a hint for the future? The pair shared the moment chatting with other Irish actors, and it resulted in a photo of the group. Catriona beamed at Prince Harry, while Vikings star Mo Dunford and Dunkirk actor Barry Keoghan seemed in hysterics over a particularly funny joke. Scottish star Sam, 37, was nowhere to be seen, but Catriona and Harry could have been discussing potential prospects for her show going forward. The duo could also have bonded over Harry's new wife, the Duchess of Sussex. Meghan Markle, 36, is a seasoned Hollywood actress, having spent 7 years as a staple on law drama Suits. The brunette gave up her acting career when she married Harry and as a result entered into a new job as part of the British royal family. Yet Harry regularly visited Meghan during filming while the pair were dating, so the Duke will no doubt be clued up on the industry. It's unlikely Harry will give up his myriad commitments for a role on Outlander, but the pair definitely seem to have a positive meeting, so who knows? Regardless, fans can look forward to plenty of fresh talent in the upcoming 4th series of the show, as well as a more prominent storyline for Brianna Fraser, Sophie Skelton, and Roger Wakefield, Richard Rankin. When they come to America, a slew of new characters are joining the cast. Jamie's Aunt Jocasta and his mother Ellen's sister will be played by Downton Abbey alum Maria Doyle Kennedy. Ed Spielers is also joining the show as pirate and smuggler Stephen Bonnet. Stephen is set for a poignant storyline with 20-year-old Brianna on the series, which is sure to get viewers talking. But will there be any surprise additions too? Fans are still eager for long-term favorite Tobias Menzies, who played both evil villain Black Jack Randall and Claire's first husband Frank Randall, to make a surprise return. As one of the younger Peaky Blinders, John Shelby remained a fan favorite from his first episode in Season 1 of the Birmingham gangster drama. Yet Tommy, played by Cillian Murphy, and Arthur, Paul Anderson, were left completely devastated when their little brother was killed in a rain of bullets by Luca Changretta, Adrian Brody, and his minions. As fans were reeling from the death of John, it was revealed actor Joe had chosen to exit the series himself, leaving creator Stephen Knight to find a way to write him out. Months after the end of Season 4 of the BBC Two program, Joe has now revealed there might be a chance of him returning. Admitting not everyone in his life were happy with his decision, he told Metro.co.uk, "My mom and dad were kind of against it because I think all their friends loved the show, but I said just trust me, single quote, you know? I've been in that show since 2012, I've done 4 seasons, and now I'm doing other things." It was an opportunity for other people to come through and have storylines. At the end of the day, it's 6 hours, 6 episodes and an entire ensemble that Stephen's got to write for. In terms of how John could return to the hugely popular 1920s epic, Joe insisted he'd up for a flashback, hallucination, or anything else the show's writer would be willing to cook up. "Yeah!" he exclaimed about his feelings on coming back to the Peaky Blinders set. But that's up to Stephen Knight, the writer. The star went on to shed light on exactly why he decided to call it quits on his biggest role yet, saying, "I wanted variety, I want to challenge myself. I want to surprise people, and it just came in hand with that season and that fatality." Meanwhile, creator Stephen admitted he'd never been keen on writing John out of the show. "I'm not a believer in pulling a prominent character's death out of the bag in order to shock people or to get people to talk about it," he insisted. "Because I think it's a law of diminishing returns. I think you have to be very careful." He also addressed his feelings on cast members giving him their notice to leave, claiming it was just one of those things. "Sometimes it's to do with the character," Stephen carried on. "Sometimes it's to do with, Peaky is getting a huge amount of attention, in the States and here in the UK, so our actors are being picked up for other things. When they get picked up for other things, we're not like the American system where you tie the actor in for 5 series from the beginning and they can't leave. All our people are free to leave whenever they want. We wouldn't have it any other way, but we have to factor that in," the writer added. "If John Shelby does return, how will it happen and could Tommy have possibly been fake?" Picnic at Hanging Rock is on BBC Two every Wednesday at 9 p.m. Fans can also stream the episode on BBC iPlayer but cannot download from the platform due to contractual agreements. You can watch Picnic at Hanging Rock on Amazon Video for £1.89 per episode. Picnic at Hanging Rock is the latest small-screen adaptation of the novel of the same name by Australian author, Joan Lindsay. The show tells the story of 3 students, Irma, played by Samara Weaving, Miranda, Lily Sullivan, and Marion, Madeleine Madden, from a school run by Mrs. Hester Appleyard, Natalie Dormer, who mysteriously go missing in the Australian bush on Valentine's Day after an afternoon picnic with their governess. The 1967 novel was originally adapted as a film by Peter Weir in 1975, which principally followed the missing students. However, the BBC series differs as program makers Beatrix Christian and Alice Addison are telling the story over 6 episodes by delving into characters' backstories, beginning with widow Mrs. Appleyard and her troubled past. Where is Picnic at Hanging Rock filmed? Where is it set? Picnic at Hanging Rock is set in Australia during the Victorian era and concentrates on Appleyard College. It is set around the real Hanging Rock, a unique geological formation in the Mount Macedon area in Victoria, Australia. Appleyard College is reportedly based on Clyde Girls' Grammar School at East St Kilda, Melbourne, which author Joan Lindsay attended. The school in 1919 was moved to Woodend, Victoria, which is not far from Hanging Rock. However, the plot is entirely fictional. The story is based on a series of dreams that the author Joan Lindsay was having. She remarkably wrote the novel in 2 weeks. Joan Lindsay's housekeeper, Ray Clements, recalled in an interview with The Age that Joan said, "Picnic at Hanging Rock really was an experience to write because I was just impossible when I was writing it. I just sort of thought about it all night, and in the morning I would go straight up and sit on the floor, papers all around me, and just write like a demon." The plot is told as if it is a true story and features pseudo-historical references to continue its framing as a true story. The title is the name of a real painting by William Ford titled At the Hanging Rock, which hung in her husband Daryl's office. WHO stars in Picnic at Hanging Rock? Janelle McCulloch, author of the 2017 biography Beyond the Rock, The Life of Joan Lindsay and the Mystery of Hanging Rock, told the Daily Telegraph that archives revealed the disappearance of two schoolgirls in the area of Hanging Rock in the 1800s who match the descriptions of the girls in the novel, and their spirits may have inspired Joan, who was known to be mystic. Janelle also discovered through her research that the original two lines of the foreword of the novel were, "For the author, who knew Mount Macedon and the Hanging Rock very well, as a child, the story is entirely true." The references to spiritualism can be seen in BBC series as the show investigates the chain of events which led to the girls' disappearance, including the paths of supernatural and criminal causes. Picnic at Hanging Rock also addresses themes of mysticism, spiritualism, real, surreal, nature and culture. It seems Picnic at Hanging Rock is based on a mixture of dreams and dramatic twists of reality. How many episodes are there for Picnic at Hanging Rock? A BBC synopsis reads, "Picnic at Hanging Rock plunges us into the mysterious disappearances of three schoolgirls and their governess on Valentine's Day, 1900. The complex, interwoven narrative charts the subsequent investigation and the event's far-reaching impact on the students, families, and staff of Appleyard College, and on the nearby township. Theories abound, long-held secrets are exposed, paranoia and hysteria set in, as in vastly differing ways the lives of our characters are changed forever. Tapping into our fear of the unknown, the series explores issues of repression and sexuality, freedom and suffocating respect. Picnic at Hanging Rock sees an Australian finishing/boarding school at the center of the action. The scrupulous Mrs. Hester Appleyard, played by Natalie, heads a group of girls, who on the front seem to be a very well-behaved gang, but it seems there is more to them than meets the eye. And that well-known cliché seems to be Picnic at Hanging Rock's mantra, as every single frame of the show is packed with mystery. The first episode features a loose introduction to Hester and her girls, not really explaining too much about them, but at the same time, not really needing to. By the end of the action, the girls have gone missing during their annual St. Valentine's trip to Hanging Rock for a picnic. As some scream for their lives, some explore, and others just fall asleep, the girls are missing. And furthermore, Hester is panicked. But it's not for that reason one might initially think. There's something seriously questionable about Hester's character, as it seems she is not quite the pillar of aristocracy she thinks she is. The head teacher appears to be hiding a secret and sordid past, hinted at through her dream sequences in which she is naked in front of the real elite. Furthermore, Natalie's London voice can be heard at the beginning of the show discussing how a disguise can turn into fact if one truly believes it. But what secret is Hester hiding? And will we find out by the end of the series? The show itself is incredibly stylish, mixing period elements with trendy and acute law mode filming techniques. At points, one could also forget they were watching Picnic at Hanging Rock, with Natalie's final dream sequence looking and sounding like one of the more technical scenes in Stranger Things. And Natalie herself is the perfect actor in the role of Hester. Yes, she has certainly cut her teeth on a less than traditional period woman, as seen in the scandalous Lady W, but there is a significant modernity about her. The way she carries herself with the ability to snap at any moment really reflects on the unhinging set to come for Hester in the following episodes. Natalie's poise and elegance is undercut by Hester's frantic worrying, which looks set to bring her down in the coming weeks. But will Hester manage to keep herself together long enough to get the girls back to safety? Or are they gone for good? With a hint of sexual assault seen at the beginning of the episode as curious Miranda Reed, Lily Sullivan, goes exploring, the drama could explore a harrowing series of events, as several men lurk behind Hanging Rock, in a seemingly predatory way. Furthermore, the girls seem to want freedom from Hester's controlling ways, so perhaps instead they may have run away from the school, in a search for finding their own destiny. Natalie recently teased to Radio Times the answer is not necessarily straightforward, musing, "People's imaginations run wild when they think a group of 3 young girls and a teacher going missing. Is it murder? Is it abuse? Is it dying of malnutrition in the middle of the outback? Have they run away? Your imagination just takes you there." Nevertheless, Picnic at Hanging Rock continued with its stylish interpretation of the Joan Lindsay novel from 1967. Tonight's installment saw one of the 14 girls safely return to Appleyard College, but all was not well. Irma, played by Samara Weaving, appeared to be completely disturbed by her trip to Hanging Rock, but she couldn't seem to figure out why. And to make matters worse, she faced a brutal dumping from the man who saved her life. Meanwhile, viewers were given several flashbacks featuring the 3 main girls, and it appeared to show their sexual curiosity. Irma in particular seemed keen to test the waters with her friends and even gained a cheeky kiss from one. And also, Natalie Dormer's Miss Appleyard's mysterious past was explored, and it seemed she had been involved in various crimes. But with the majority of the girls still out, and the style of the show becoming darker and more mysterious, viewers appeared to be unsure of the drama at this stage of the action. Many flocked to Twitter to declare the latest installment a bit confusing as they hit out at the weird plot. One wrote, "Picnic at Hanging Rock should be renamed Confusion at Hanging Rock." Another added, "Okay, I've watched 3 eps now, still no F*** clue what's going on, literally ahead F***. Beyond weird, so lost." A third shared, "Totally confused by Picnic at Hanging Rock, is it just me? Visually a feast though." A fourth posted, "I love the book but I'm really struggling to keep up with this adaptation. Trying really hard to like it though." Others seem to disagree, writing, "Today's good things, coffee, leaving work on time, Picnic at Hanging Rock, I love it." A second commented, "Picnic at Hanging Rock is getting better. Fabulous costumes. Lots of mysterious slow-mo." As the horror continues on the show, will viewers stick with the last 3 episodes to see how Picnic at Hanging Rock pans out? This comes after the Telegraph exposed the real myth of the Hanging Rock. The real setting, just 50 miles northwest of Melbourne, is said to be the home of spooky goings-on. It is also believed witches and electronic. In upcoming episodes of Poldark, Ross, played by Aidan Turner, will find himself challenged to a duel. His wife Demelza, Eleanor Tomlinson, finds herself being pursued by Monk Adderley, Max Bennett, before Ross is left embarrassed in front of his peers in Westminster. As a result, Ross' fury erupts and he ends up being challenged to a duel by his new nemesis. Will the BBC heartthrob survive the violent confrontation? Speaking about the upcoming scene, which will take place in Sunday night's penultimate episode, Aidan spilled, "It's a scary thing for someone to challenge you to a duel in those days. It didn't happen that often and you can't really turn it down as you lose face and pride. Not a great look in the day. Loading those guns would have been difficult and they were really inaccurate, so you could get the bullet anywhere. It was fun to do it on screen, but that's as far as you'd want to take it." Meanwhile, Max revealed that he filmed the tense scene on his first day. Opening up on the details that went into creating it, he explained, It was great doing those scenes. Dueling wasn't legal then. It was done at dawn. There were lots of particular details. For example, you always had a second with you and there would be a doctor present. There was a certain amount of steps you could take and you'd fire on the 14th step. He continued, back then there were lots of occasions where honor was satisfied by both pistols being fired into the air or a compromise was reached before they fired them. Not in this case. Ross and Monk are both described in the novels as wild men. The synopsis for episode 7 reads, "The Poldarks, Anisas and Dwarligans enjoy London's distractions. George dotes on Elizabeth, delighting at the prospect of an heir and announcing plans to host a charity ball, but their domestic bliss soon comes under threat. At the Warligan ball Adderley takes a fancy to Demelza, betting George he'll cuckold Ross. Poldark's fourth run has been one of its best yet, with plenty of surprises as Ross, played by Aidan Turner, headed to London as Cornwall's newest MP. Demelza, Eleanor Tomlinson, was left manning the Nampera household while the couple's close friends Dr. Dwight Ennis, Luke Norris, and Caroline Ennis, Gabriella Wilde, went through their biggest tragedy yet with the death of their baby daughter Sarah Caroline Ennis. But meanwhile, sinister villain George Warligan, Jack Farthing, and his wife Elizabeth have only seemed to go from strength to strength on the BBC series, holding one lavish party after another at their London townhouse, until last week's instalment. Finally discovering the truth, his dear son Valentine was actually the result of a tryst between Elizabeth and his nemesis Ross, George instantly gave his wife the cold shoulder. Panicking, Elizabeth seemed terrified about what George would do and the possibility of him reigniting his feud with former soldier Ross. While the trailer for tonight's finale shows the trio entering into the mother of all showdowns on the Cornish drama, 30-year-old Icelandic actress Haida has revealed she faced her own struggle during filming, in the form of costumes. "One of my favorite periods of all time, visually," she began, "was the period we started in at the very beginning of the show when Ross goes off to war. That style, with the tiny waists and the billowing skirts, created such beautiful silhouettes. It is uncomfortable to wear that sort of style for a long period of time, but it looks amazing. So I wasn't, at first, super enthusiastic about changing the style because it was such a drastic change." Despite voicing her qualms, the BBC star admitted it wasn't long before the production put her mind at ease. "But the costume designer, Howard Burton, has done such an incredible job at making us look gorgeous," she went on. "And the corsets are different and in a lot of ways more comfortable, so that was a nice change. I actually ended up liking the cut-in fabrics way more than I anticipated," Haida then confessed. "It's even more of a tragedy the pair are ripped apart by Elizabeth's indiscretion, as the actress gave her thoughts on how much the couple were suited. They're definitely a bit of a power couple, and there is a reconnaissable Macbeth element there, just not as morbid," she said. "Elizabeth is very good at turning a blind eye to the more severe things that George gets up to. She sees what she wants to see in him, and that is why she loves him so much. People may think that she is trapped in a loveless marriage, and they may not understand why she has married him. At first it had everything to do with security, but now there is a real mutual love, respect and understanding. They really get off on aiding each other in their rise to the top, within their world. She is the perfect right-hand woman, the perfect partner for him, and he is brilliant for her as well." Haida continued, "This series George and Elizabeth are very happy. It has taken a lot to get there and for the storm to calm, but they finally get to be what they want to be, and there is a great respect and love between them now. That was so much fun for Jack and me, who have been partners for 3 years on Poldark. The star even said her friendship with Jack led to her caring about the couple on screen a lot more. "We finally got to play a happy couple, and it is a different experience," she explained. This Sunday, BBC One viewers will tune in to see the final episode of Season 4's Poldark. The period drama, written by Debbie Horsfield, will show both George Warligan, played by Jack Farthing, and Demelza Poldark, Eleanor Tomlinson, asking questions about the parentage of Elizabeth Warligan's Ida Reid child Valentine, Alfie Rigby, and watch her give birth to her third baby. Speaking to What's on TV via TV Times, Debbie described the finale episode and what viewers can expect to see. She said it would be dramatic, exhilarating, tense, heartbreaking, but ultimately heartwarming. "There's so much story, so many twists and turns, we couldn't fit it all in. The opening scene will be a surprise, and we'll get to see the return of some familiar faces who came back especially for the finale." Poldark fans will also see the climax to Elizabeth's Ida Reid dramatic storyline play out. And Debbie explained, "Elizabeth is a contentious character." Winston Graham, who wrote the Poldark novels, describes her story as the tragedy of a woman who couldn't make up her mind. Very much a woman of her time, bred to make a good marriage, but with very little power of her own. She's a survivor who will do what needs to be done, especially on behalf of her children. It's because of her love for her children that she makes a decision that will change the lives of everyone forever. And if fans were hoping to see Morwenna's Eli's Chapel storyline end in happiness, it appears the finale will be a turning point for her, with the character finding contentment in Season 5. "Morwenna's story has been particularly harrowing," Debbie began. "There are no quick fixes for someone who's been traumatized as she has, but let's say there's more than a glimmer of hope." Poldark viewers already know there will be another series, with the BBC having confirmed its commission and Debbie revealing she is currently writing it. But fans will have to wait until Season 4 has finished for more news. If viewers can't wait until Sunday, a teaser trailer has been released ahead of the concluding episode. The clip begins with another confrontation between George and Ross, Aidan Turner, when George asks, "What do you want, George?" Fans will also get a brief glimpse of what could be Morwenna's fate when she is chased through the woods by the dogs. And Ross and Demelza will also reunite after the events of Episode 7, but will they have a happy ending? Poldark Season 4 concludes this Sunday at 9 p.m. on BBC One. BAFTA-winning actor Ruth Madeley presented, pulling in her own experiences of life with this condition as well as looking at the causes, cures and quandaries. She couldn't claim to speak for everyone, though, not least because everyone has spina bifida in a different way. It develops at an incredibly early stage of a fetus's life journey, around 4 weeks, and as a flat plate of cells folds over into what will eventually become a human form. This is all on a scale about the size of a sesame seed, by the way, and in spina bifida cases, the folding over is incomplete. Vital nerves are left outside, becoming damaged or defunct, with varying consequences. Some people's spina bifida has more or less no effect on the way they live their lives. Others have water on the brain, cognitive difficulties, kidney problems, constant and severe pain. But as Ruth found out, there's still no obvious link between the symptoms and the mindsets of the people who have them. One man she spoke to, Mark, had limited mobility and was severely ill from complications of operations he'd had. He still said he saw spina bifida as part of his identity, not something he suffered from. He died a few weeks later and we've no reason to suppose he changed his mind. It was hard to view the pioneering but risky surgical treatment, being trialed for the first time in the UK on unborn babies, without thinking back to Mark and wondering if he'd have wanted it. By the time an adult can make an informed judgment about their life, of course, it's often too late to change it. The best solution in the end seemed to be the least high-tech or morally tangled. Bread flour has been loaded with vitamins and supplements, by government order, ever since wartime. If folic acid was thrown in as well, women would have a healthy enough quantity of it in their bodies to prevent most cases of spina bifida occurring. If we can do something like that, then why wouldn't we? The second installment of Prison, C4, plunged us into another philosopher's conundrum, the chicken or the egg. From what we'd seen in the first helping, it was plain that the violence, extortion and intoxication levels in jails like HMP Durham were not going to help anyone's mental health. So when an intense, anxious man called James was admitted to the psychiatric wing saying he felt everyone was out to get him, you had to wonder, was he just imagining it? Could he be both paranoid and have a perfect grasp of the situation around him? As the episode went on, we began to see the whole thing from another angle. A major source of stress in the prison, to staff and inmates, came from men like Chris Dale, severely disturbed, continually self-harming. It's good news. Netflix's Queer Eye has been renewed for a third season. Fans are rejoicing that the heartwarming lifestyle makeover series will be back for another run. The renewal was announced via Twitter last week. A video was posted to the show's official Twitter account on July 13th with the caption, "Get in, Henny. We're taking a road trip. Are you ready for Season 3? Kansas City, Missouri here. We come." Queer Eye Season 2 Netflix release date. The first two seasons were released in quick succession this year, following back-to-back filming in Atlanta, Georgia. So there will be a bit of a wait for Season 3 but hopefully not too long. Variety is reporting that filming is set to begin today, Monday, July 16th, with the release date set for sometime in 2019. The exact date is yet to be announced, but based on how quickly the last two seasons were produced, it is likely to be early 2019. The news comes just as the series was nominated for 4 Emmys. While the format is the same, the setting will be different for Season 3 as the Fab Five are heading to a whole new city. Season 3 will see hosts Antoni Porowski, Bobby Burke, Karamo Brown, Jonathan Van Ness, and Tan France back and ready to make over a host of new faces. However, the show is moving from Atlanta, Georgia to Kansas City, Missouri, where the gang will no doubt meet some new characters for some tear-jerking episodes. The series is based on the long-running noughties show Queer Eye for the Straight Guy, which had a similar format but only took place in New York City. Netflix's take on the show sees the Fab Five find their subjects in more rural areas. Speaking about the decision to move the show from New York, executive producer Rob Eric said, "It was time to leave New York. We realized that you can take anyone into a high-end Manhattan shop and make them look like $1 million." He added, "We believed Queer Eye should be able to go anywhere, any city, any town, any community on any budget and make over anyone of any gender with great results." The updated approach also strives to be more inclusive, with not only straight men being included but also women and trans people. So Season 3 is likely to... Each year it looms large in the schedule as a welcome staple, giving us a striking comparison to the heart-thumping action of summer football. Tennis at Wimbledon, though, has other qualities, not least because there's something faintly improbable about this tournament now. As the last remaining lawn tennis Grand Slam, it has an importance of its own, combined with another great British pastime, obsessive lawn mowing. Oh, yes, those wonderful manicured stripes, the envy of all gardeners. Then there are the officials, the rules, the dress code and the choreography. It's almost the perfect sport for television, not least because it evolves at such a pedestrian speed. It also holds on to tradition, unashamedly. In this weather, and with the right refreshment in front of the television, it takes some beating and reminds us that holding on to some things is worth it. Well, that was until Boris Becker opened his mouth. This former darling of the court is now completely bizarre, and not comically so. And frankly, what was presenter Sue Barker even doing asking him about his apparent diplomatic immunity because of a Central African Republic passport? We all wanted to know about that. He then joked, swore and got the BBC coverage off to a wonderful start. In the evening, it got even weirder as the shadows lengthened and the Pims disappeared. Was the positioning of the studio for Today at Wimbledon BBC Two every day the result of too many brainstorm meetings with perfect curve? Why don't we, then, just have this sort of high platform, not a studio at all, a sort of non-studio, where everyone can sit in all weathers? Viewers will love it. Alas, the weather doesn't. Even with the sunshine, lead presenter Claire Balding and experts Tracy Austin and John McEnroe were holding down everything as the wind did its worst. For some inexplicable reason, we also missed the opening shot of the three presenters, unless you count a long-distance view of the back of their heads as entertainment. The first match saw ex-champ Serena Williams try to overcome the cruel imposition of a pair of thick brown tights. I do think the All England handicap system is going too far now. She grunted her way through the match, leading Claire Balding to suggest that she was downbeat in her post-match interview. You try having a baby last September then returning to top-level competitive tennis. Admittedly, I was more shocked by McEnroe's outfit than anything worn by a tennis player. Is he having a midlife crisis? He was in Converse trainers and a strange silver necklace. Did he wear that for a bet? Altogether now, you cannot be serious. Can the All England dress code now include presenters? We then caught up with promising British player Katie Swan, who turned in a sterling performance, full of grit, only to be asked by the BBC reporter how she would be enjoying the night. She replied, celebrating with family. BBC reporter, and a bit of Love Island? Swan, absolutely. The reality show hardly needs any publicity from the BBC. Love Island, ITV2, every day, continues to enjoy incredible popularity, even from Ofcom. Last week, it broke its own ratings record. As much as I try to drag myself away, I'm drawn in again. On the Monday episode, when Donnie Dyer was successfully reunited with her dynamic pen salesman Jack Fincham, 4 million, a quarter of all that night's TV viewers, couldn't believe they were still watching the show either. There is no truth to the rumor that her father Danny Dyer was about to parachute into the villa garden if Fincham had returned with the new girl. Personally, I can't wait for the women to twig to the fact that Charlie Brake, one of the new batch of men, is heir to a £2 billion fortune. Ian Sterling, the show's unforgiving and hilarious narrator, will be poised no doubt with the phrase, "What attracted you to the billionaire heir to a catering fortune?" No doubt the reply will come, "I thought he was fit, like." If you're pinched for something to do during the show, try Love Island Bingo. You count the number of times the phrases, "Oh my God, know what I mean?" or 100% are said. If it happens in the same sentence, You of course shout, "Bingo!" Probably to yourself. Sweet little Sarah, the Ennis baby, had been in the series for barely a blink when life was cruelly snatched from her. You can always rely on infant mortality to stir an audience, cheap. But more seriously for Dr. Ennis, his wife fled the marital home and, rather unfairly, took the dog with her. As he trudged back into his huge Cornish pile, he appeared to have only a loyal footman to fall back on. Elsewhere, just when things are going awry in Poldark, everything does. A mine collapsed and flooded, but our hero Ross, whose ill-fated plan caused the waterworks, dragged a worker from the shaft, and Ennis gave the boy the weirdest. Betty Cooper, played by Lily Reinhardt, was devastated when she found out that her father, Hal Cooper, Lachlan Munro, was really the Black Hood. But fans have become unsure about the validity of Hal's confession, and are looking for holes in his story. And while viewers are sure that Hal is certainly involved, they have decided he may not be the mastermind behind the whole ordeal. Fans on Reddit have come up with the theory that Polly Cooper, Taraskivbai, is the real perpetrator behind the Black Hood murders. But why would Polly begin killing people in Riverdale? And why would she be tormenting Betty? Fans will remember that Polly had her twins with the late Jason Blossom, Trevor Steins. Jason was killed in the first portion of Season 1 by his father over the family's drug trade. The dedicated fans online have deduced that perhaps Polly is determined to stamp out every trace of drug use in the town in revenge for Jason. This would explain why Midge Klump, Elijah Buranek, was killed off after being caught buying Jingle Jangle just before their production of Carrie. Polly's scheme could have brought along Hal as her muscle after explaining the situation to him, and how his side of the family were involved. Polly's involvement would also connect the dots between the Black Hood and Betty. During their phone calls, the Black Hood has consistently told Betty that they are alike, with a darkness inside of them, and who is more alike than sisters? The connection would also explain how the Black Hood had such access to Betty's life. And Polly's involvement would also explain why the ominous phone calls have attempted to entice Betty into the cult. However, Polly may have a new foe ahead of her in Season 3. It was recently suggested by fans that Cheryl Blossom's Madeleine Pitch, Mother Penelope, Natalie Bolt, may be the next major villain in the show. As her sinister plans to take over Riverdale progress, she has worked hard in trying to kill her daughter Cheryl. But will Polly and Penelope come face to face in the upcoming third season? Riverdale viewers were closely watching social media earlier this week after the cast attended the San Diego Comic-Con panel. The cast premiered the trailer for the next season. But what was unveiled? Series 3 will begin with Archie Andrews, played by KJ Apa, on trial for murder. Archie actor KJ said, "We'll see if he goes away or if he doesn't go away." The first few episodes of the third season will also focus on the show's main cast. However, fans will be pleased to hear the rest of the Jones family will arrive later in the series. A flashback episode will also take place in the upcoming season, where the characters will be seen playing with their parents during their high school days. More questions have arisen into the affairs, scandal, blackmail and even murder that will take place. The show is still filming for Season 3 in Vancouver, but is expected to be released in October. Fans of the show instantly took to social media to share their thoughts following the premiere. One Riverdale fan tweeted, "I have so many questions about the Riverdale trailer. Why aren't Archie and Betty together yet? #Riverdale?" questioned another. A third noted, "The real question for the upcoming season of Riverdale, does Archie finally make his bones? I just saw the #Riverdale S3 sneak preview trailer and I'm 99.97% sure I was right about Polly." said another. A fifth wrote, "Wait! What? What's going to happen to the babies? And why wasn't Jughead in the water with Betty? Oh, I can't wait. The trailer for Season 3 of Riverdale. Hurry up October, sick," penned another excited fan. Riverdale returns for Labor Day on the CW network on October 10th, with the episodes streaming on. After growing increasingly suspicious of her estranged brother Sheik Cooper, played by Hart Denton, Betty Cooper, Lily Reinhardt, discovered the truth in Riverdale. Following a brutal confrontation between the siblings and their mother Alice Cooper, Sheik revealed his real name was Charles. He also confessed that the real Sheik died shortly before Betty arrived at his hotel room. Both of these shocking revelations added to the creepy nature of Sheik, as he continued to threaten Betty and her family. But Betty eventually took Sheik to meet the Black Hood, who was last seen trying to kill the imposter. However, viewers didn't see Sheik get killed, and Betty didn't want to watch him die, so could he still be alive? And with Season 3 fast approaching, fans are beginning to expect Sheik's return after his ambiguous exit. The fan theories surrounding Sheik's return exploded even further when his actor Hart posted a cryptic image on Instagram. In the image, the actor is lifting a tire with the caption, "You're out of your mind if you think the Black Hood would end me." This post was backed up even further when Alice actress Madchen spoke out about his return. Speaking at a mental health awareness event, she said, "I'm sure you're all aware of Hart's creepy portrayal of the Cooper's son, and I can't wait to see what he's gonna be up to in Season 3. She concluded the hint by saying, "Spoiler alert." Could these two hints confirm the arrival of Sheik once again in the upcoming season? But Sheik's return is sure to spell a bad time for Betty. If he were to return, he would surely look to take revenge on Betty after she gave him up to the Black Hood. Sheik isn't the only sibling trouble Betty could have next season, as fans believe her sister Polly, Tara Skivby, is involved with the Black Hood. They believe Jason Blossom's, Trevor Stein's, death caused a great deal of trauma to Polly, causing her to take revenge on the people of Riverdale. But viewers believe she will make a return in Season 3 to recruit Betty to her cause. And as the sisters share a darkness, Betty may be interested. As the parents of each of the main cast become more involved in the story, Riverdale viewers are going to find out more of their backstory. During this weekend's San Diego Comic-Con, the cast and producers of Riverdale arrived in Hall H to discuss the upcoming third season. And they revealed how much information the viewers would learn about the families of Betty Cooper, played by Lily Reinhardt, and Jughead Jones, Cole Sprouse. Executive producer Sarah Schechter teased, "There might be a flashback episode coming soon." And executive producer Robert Zacasa Aguirre confirmed, "That is true. We're planning to do that. When we started, we had a wish list of all the things we wanted to do. I think we're going to do that in Season 3, he concluded, before also revealing that the younger actors would be playing their on-screen parents. This would mean that Jughead actor Cole will be playing his father F.P. Jones, Skeet Ulrich, as a youngster. He will most likely be enthralled in a relationship with a young Alice Cooper, Madchen, who will be played by Betty actor Lily. The confirmation of this storyline may have revealed that some secrets of the parents may come to light. But what could the parents be hiding from their children that would justify an entire flashback episode? The panel's tease follows the theory that Sheik Cooper, Hart Denton, will return to the show for Season 3. Despite the fact that Sheik was chased down into the woods by the Black Hood in the finale of the season, fans think he is on his way back. On top of the fact that viewers didn't see Sheik die in his final scenes, the star has recently been posting on Instagram. Hart posted an image on Instagram which showed him working out. He captioned the image, "You're out of your mind if you think the Black Hood would end me." And this was backed up even further by Alice actor Madgen recently speaking out at a mental health awareness event. She hinted, "I'm sure you're all aware of Hart's creepy portrayal of the Cooper's son, and I can't wait to see what he's gonna be up to in season 3. Spoiler alert. Could Alice's estranged son Charles be set? At the end of season 2 of Riverdale earlier this year, many questions were left unanswered about the future of the young high schoolers. Having discovered that Betty Cooper's, played by Lily Reinhardt, father Hal Lachlan Monroe was the Black Hood killer stalking the streets of Riverdale, the core four were hoping to have a peaceful summer. But in the closing moments of the finale, Archie Andrews, KJ Apa, was arrested for murder. As the red-haired heartthrob was taken away in handcuffs, a sly glance from Hiram Lodge, Mark Consols, led viewers to believe Archie had been set up. Hiram is the corrupt and money-swindling father of Archie's girlfriend Veronica, Camila Mendez, and when the third season returns, could he jeopardize the young couple's future? Speaking at the San Diego Comic-Con at the weekend, KJ Apa speculated that Archie's imprisonment could have major consequences for the popular couple. "I think definitely there will be kind of a distance and separation between them if he goes away. It'll be tough. It'll shake things up a bit," he said. Fans of the CW teen drama series will know this isn't the first roadblock the two have faced during their relationship. Betty and Archie shared a forbidden kiss in season 2, but it eventually came clean to Veronica and Betty's boyfriend, Jughead, Cole Sprouse. However, after some slight resentment, the couples decided to put their differences behind them. But Camila did reveal on the Comic-Con panel that this isn't the end of the troubles for Veronica and Archie. "I think they're gonna run into some problems. I don't want to say too much. Though fans of Bughead need not fear, as Lily explained, Betty and Jughead aren't going to face the same troubles. Right now, I think they're rock solid. As the new king and queen of the Serpents, Betty and Jughead are likely to be the new power couple of Riverdale and will continue to investigate the secrets of the town. They start off season 3 as the investigative duo that they were in season 1, which is fun," Lily explains. "So they kind of tackle one of the new mysteries of season 3 head-on and dive deep into it. As relationships are put to the test, viewers will see greater focus on." Season 3 of Riverdale is in production, with fans eager for the next installment, which won't be dropping until this autumn. Netflix is expected to drop episodes of the forthcoming run in the UK the day after their American transmission on the CW. Riverdale Season 3 will pick up from the shocking finale of the second cycle, in which Archie Andrews, played by KJ Apa, was set up mobster Hiram Lodge, Mark Consolos, after he refused to stay silent about his dodgy dealings. Jock Archie was hauled away by the police in the closing moments of the last episode. Riverdale showrunner Roberto Aguirre Sacasa recently shared a photo from set featuring a look at the first page of the script for episode 2 of season 3. Will there be another series of Riverdale? He posted the photo on Twitter, which feature a cartoon of Archie still behind bars, and the caption, "And here we go. Episode 302 of #Riverdale is about ready to get out of the gate." Details have been kept under wraps about the new run, but Veronica Lodge star Camila Mendez appeared to let slip a details hinting that Archie would be getting out of prison in the new run after posting of her co-star Apa. There have been theories and plenty of speculation about what will happen in season 3, including the appearance of more of Jughead Jones, Cole Sprouse, family members including his mother and sister Yelai Bean. While they've only been mentioned thus far, they could finally be turning up in town as Hiram's grip tightens on the American town. Riverdale Season 3 Netflix release date, cast, trailer, Plot actor Skeet Ulrich, who plays Southside Serpent F.P. Jones, revealed earlier this year at RiverCon that Yellowbean and Jughead's mother would be making an appearance as reported by PopBuzz. When asked about the two characters, he told audiences at the Riverdale convention, "Yes, very soon, in Season 3. He previously told Vline in an interview last year who he would like to see taking on the role of FP's ex-wife and mother to his children Jughead and Yellowbean. Ulrich said, "I mean, God, I think Neve Campbell would be really interesting." Campbell and Ulrich worked together on seminal teen horror flick Scream. How to watch Riverdale Season 3 online. He continued, "I know she's busy doing some films and stuff like that, so I don't know if that's a possibility." The actor added, "But yeah, I think she'd be very intriguing." If Campbell was cast in Riverdale, it would fit well with the show's love of homage and references. The titles of each episode named after films or songs, such as Primary Colors and The Killing of the Sacred Deer. On top of that, the casting has seen the likes of 90s heartthrob Luke Perry playing construction worker Fred Andrews, while the role of his wife Mary belongs to 80s teen queen Molly Ringwald. So it would be perfect if Campbell and Ulrich were part of the next big teen sensation after their iconic work in the 90s. Sartai Singh is a troubled policeman in Mumbai. Sartai is ostracized by his fellow colleagues for morally disagreeing with the police corruption after being forced to participate in a police cover-up following the shooting of an innocent man. He receives a phone call from notorious criminal Ganesh Gaitonde, played by Nawazuddin Siddiqui, who has been missing for 16 years, and tells him, "You have 25 days to save your city." Sartai is haunted by Ganesh throughout the series and has to chase the gangster's past to find the clues to stop the unknown deadly plot that will destroy Mumbai. He works alongside police analyst Anjali Mathur, played by Radhika Apte, in a race against time to save millions of lives. Sacred Games is based on the critically acclaimed novel of the same name by Vikram Chandra. In the book, the character of Sartai is more passive compared to the one we see on screen. In an interview with First Post, Khan said, "It's very poetic stuff, but books happen in characters' minds. To translate them on screen requires a very different process. If you have a passive character on screen, it's a bit boring to watch, whereas you can understand the inner workings of a passive character in a book. My character is more active. There's a lot of drama, action and movement." Will there be another series of Sacred Games? Saif Ali Khan is an Indian film actor and producer from New Delhi. He is the son of Indian cricketer Manor Ali Khan and Bollywood actress Sharmila Tagore. Khan has been a mainstream Bollywood star since the late 90s, making his acting debut in Yash Chopra's Parampara. He then went on to find greater success in rom-com Yetalaji and action film Main Kaladi Tu Anari. He rose to stardom with his roles in comedy dramas Dil Chahta Hai and Kalno Na in the early noughties. He won the Indian National Film Award for Best Actor in Romantic Comedy Hum Tum in 2004. He studied at Lockers Park School and Winchester College in the UK. After graduating from boarding school, he returned to India and worked in advertising before following a career in film. Playing a vulnerable policeman who is morally conscious, Saif told the Indian Express, "I've always been quite self-deprecating and easy. That's the environment I grew up in. Lots of people are a bit more defensive, macho. But I am comfortable being in touch with my vulnerability. That's the normal way of how one should be." Sacred Games ending explained. Sacred Games is based on the 2006 critically acclaimed novel of the same name by author Vikram Chandra. Netflix's official synopsis of the show reads, "A policeman, a criminal overlord, a Bollywood film star, politicians, cultists, spies, and terrorists the lives of the privileged, the famous, the wretched, and the bloodthirsty interweave with cataclysmic consequences amid the chaos of modern-day Mumbai. The 8-episode thriller follows the riveting journey of Sartai Singh, Saif Ali Khan, a seasoned, cynical police officer, and Anjali Mathur, Radhika Apte, an intelligence officer, to the center of a mysterious web woven the powerful criminal overlord, Ganesh Gaitonde. The plot twists and turns along the dark alleys of Mumbai, with Ganesh and Sartai tightening their grip on each other and staking everything on victory, including the city itself. How many episodes are in Sacred Games? Netflix has not yet confirmed a second series, but the show has great potential to continue. Cast members have been dropping hints that a second season will begin filming at the end of this year. Khan teased fans while speaking to DNA when he confirmed shooting for Season 2 would begin in September this year. He said, "Yes, we should be out with one season every year if that's the way ahead." Pankaj Tripathi, who plays Guruji, also dropped hints about the new villain for Season 2. In an interview with Midday, he said, "Guruji is a larger-than-life part and will become the most sought-after character in the series. My character becomes as big as Gaitonde." The first season, Sacred Games, is based on the 2006 critically acclaimed novel of the same name by Vikram Chandra. It is set in Bombay, India, which is present-day Mumbai, and follows a cat-and-mouse chase between policeman Sartai Singh, played by Saif Ali Khan, and notorious criminal Ganesh Gaitonde. Nawazuddin Siddiqui. Sartai receives an anonymous phone call saying you have 25 days to save your city. This leads him to the missing criminal Ganesh Gaitonde, Nawazuddin Siddiqui. Each episode covers the next 25 days and fluctuates between Gaitonde's rise in the 1980s and investigator Singh pursuing the mobster's past in the present day. All 8 episodes are available to watch on Netflix now. Sacred Games on Netflix. Release date, cast, trailer. Plot: the mixed cast of Bollywood A-list stars and up-and-coming actors has added to the hype surrounding the show. Here's a look at the cast of Sacred Games on Netflix. Saif Ali Khan. Saif Ali Khan plays the main character, troubled police officer turned hero, Sartai Singh, who is ostracized by his fellow Hindu colleagues after morally disagreeing with the police corruption. He studied at Lockers Park School and Winchester College in the UK. After graduating from boarding school, he returned to India and worked in advertising before pursuing a career in film. Saif has been a mainstream Bollywood star since the 90s after starring in films Yedalaji and Main Kaladi Tu Anari. He went on to find further fame with parts in Dil Chahta Hai and Kal Ho Na Ho. Playing a vulnerable policeman who is morally conscious, Saif told the Indian Express, "I've always been quite self-deprecating and easy. That's the environment I grew up in. Lots of people are a bit more defensive, macho. But I am comfortable being in touch with my vulnerability. That's the normal way of how one should be." Sacred Games. Where is IT filmed? Where is IT set? Nawazuddin Siddiqui. Nawazuddin Siddiqui plays villain in Sacred Games, Ganesh Gaitonde, a wanted criminal who haunts Sartai. Vikram Chandra based the character on the real-life criminal and terrorist Dawood Ibrahim, who was responsible in organizing the 1993 bomb blasts in Mumbai in response to communal riots in Thr City between 1992 and 1993. Nawazuddin is a Bollywood star, having been in major films including Black Friday, New York, Peeply Live, Kahani and Gangs of Wasseypur. He graduated from the National School of Drama, New Delhi in 1996 after he moved to the city from his hometown of Muzaffarnagar. Nawazuddin fell in love with going to the theatre, which inspired him to pursue a career in acting. He then moved to Mumbai and made his Bollywood debut in 1999 with a small role in Sarfarosh directed by Amir Khan. Sacred Games on Netflix. How to watch Sacred Games online. Radhika Apte, up-and-coming actress. Radhika Apte makes her small-screen debut in Sacred Games as police analyst Anjali Mathur, who wants to help Sartai save Mumbai. Radhika is known for her leading role in Indian psychological thriller, Phobia, and smaller roles in Antaheen and Parched. She told entertainment website Scroll In, "Anjali is a very no-nonsense character. There is this impression with a raw agent that she should be someone badass. We wanted to make her very normal. Vikram is really good with his actors. We did think about how Anjali would react, how she'd walk, what her focus will be, etc. There's a lot of research that went in." Apte is a supporter of the Me Too campaign in India and is one of the few Indian actresses who has spoke about sexism and harassment in the film industry. Kubra Sadi has been highly praised by critics for her performance of transgender male, Cuckoo, in Sacred Games. Cuckoo is a transgender cabaret singer and bar dancer and plays the love interest of the show's villain Ganesh Gaitonde. Kubra has a very successful career in India as a model, actress, TV host and anchor. She was crowned Miss Personality as part of the Miss India Worldwide Beauty Pageant in 2008 and was awarded India's Best Female MC award. Her Bollywood debut was alongside Salman Khan in Reddy in 2011, and she also had a small role in the movie Sultan, also starring Khan and Anushka Sharma. Speaking to news agency IANS, Kubra said, "Sacred Games has actually turned out to be the most challenging experience of my acting career. Playing a transgender isn't easy as there are hardly any references that you can source out and seek help from." Jitendra Joshi plays recurring character, Constable Kanekar, Sartai Singh's side. In comparison to Sartai's other colleagues, Constable Kanekar is less serious and offers a lighter, humorous side to the dark series. Jitendra has previously starred alongside actress Priyanka Chopra in the critically acclaimed Ventilator, for which he won the Filmfare Marathi Award for Best Actor. He is known for his career in Marathi cinema and theatre. He has hardly worked in Hindi cinema and only occasionally with big stars. Luke Kenny plays sinister assassin Malcolm. He told entertainment website Scroll In, "Malcolm has no remorse, is cold, and yet has to get the job done for a greater agenda. But he is calmly eccentric and has this weird unflinching look about him that unsettles a lot of characters in the stir." Luke was born in Calcutta, India, and moved to Bombay when he was 3 months old. Luke is of English, Irish and Italian descent. He is a musician, actor, director and producer. In 2005 he directed and produced his first feature film, 13th Floor, India. Sacred Games dropped on Netflix on Friday, July 6. The drama is Netflix's first Indian original series based on Vikram Chandra's 2006 critically acclaimed novel of the same name. Netflix's official synopsis of the show reads, "A policeman, a criminal overlord, a Bollywood film star, politicians, cultists, spies, and terrorists, the lives of the privileged, the famous, the wretched, and the bloodthirsty interweave with cataclysmic consequences amid the chaos of modern-day Mumbai." The 8-episode thriller follows the riveting journey of Sartai Singh, a seasoned, cynical police officer, and Anjali Mathur, an intelligence officer, to the center of a mysterious web woven the powerful criminal overlord, Ganesh Gaitonde. The plot twists and turns along the dark alleys of Mumbai, with Ganesh and Sartai tightening their grip on each other and staking everything on victory, including the city itself. All 8 episodes are available to watch on Netflix now. Sacred Games on Netflix. What does each episode names mean? Sacred Games Season 1 is an adaptation of the first quarter of Chandra's novel. The book is set in 1993, while the web series adaptation has two timelines. One timeline is set in the present day following characters Police Inspector Sartai Singh, played by Saif Ali Khan, and Anjali Mathur, Radhika Apte, as they pursue Ganesh Gaitone's Nawazuddin Siddiqui, past to save Mumbai in 25 days. The second timeline is the narrative of Gaitone's life story, including flashbacks to his rise in the criminal underworld during the 1980s and 1990s. While it appears the character of notorious gangster Ganesh Gaitone is a fictional character, there has been speculation that he is loosely based on mobster Hota Rajan. The Hindustan Times described the character of Ganesh as a Hota Rajan-type gangster, and the parallels between Hota and the fictional character Ganesh are pretty convincing. Hota was the boss of a major crime organization based in India, who started off as a pretty criminal from a poor background. Ganesh is the head of Gang G Company in Bombay, who has a similar rags to riches story from a small village to a high figure in Bombay's criminal underworld. Hota joined the Bhattarajan gang in 1982 and worked for Dawood Ibrahim, who had fled to Dubai. They split in 1993 after the Bombay bombings, and Hota formed his own gang that rivaled Dawood's D Company. Where is Sacred Games set? Where is IT filmed? Ganesh's enemy is Sulaiman Isa of Gang S Company, a Muslim gangster who is speculated to be based on Dawood Ibrahim, a criminal and terrorist. Dawood was head of organized crime group D Company, which he founded in Mumbai during the 1970s, and is regarded as being the mastermind behind the March 1993 Bombay bombings. There were reports that Hota tipped off Dan and his criminal network after the 1993 Bombay bombings to the Research and Analysis Wing, just like Ganesh does in Sacred Games, to police investigator Sartai Singh, played by Saif Ali Khan. According to popular culture website Scrollin', Vikram Chandra imagined Gaitone as the fictitious opposite of the real-life terrorist Dawood Brahman, who played a key role in organizing the 1993 serial bomb blast in Mumbai as a response to the communal riots in 1992 and 1993. They explain, Gaitone too earns the benefits of communal polarization early on in his journey, and, like Dawood Ibrahim, is transformed from a criminal into a public enemy. What happened at the end of Sacred Games on Netflix? Although Ganesh Gaitone is a fictional character, the backdrop of events we see in his past narrative are real. The reference to true events gives Gaitone's journey context within the greater history of India to the present day. Co-director Anurag Kashyap told the Hindu Times, "The book is actually the story of how Bombay became Mumbai. When you watch the series and the whole story is told, you will get a sense of the city, where it came from and where it is today." The novel Sacred Games is set against the backdrop of the Barbie Masjid demolition of December 1992 and the Bombay riots in December 1992 and 1993, which left 900 people dead. The riots were peaceful protests that turned violent as Muslims protested against the demolition of the Barbie Masjid demolition by Hindu Karsavaks in Ayodhya. The riots were then responded to by the Bombay bombings in 1993 as an act of revenge reportedly coordinated by Dawood Ibrahim, which only further increased tensions between Hindus and Muslims in Bombay. In the Netflix adaptation of Sacred Games, Gaitone participates in a riot for murderous revenge attack against his Muslim enemy, Sulaiman Isa, which helps spark tensions between Hindu and Muslims in the area he lives in. The setting of Bombay and Mumbai in Sacred Games is key to Gaitone's character. Mumbai became the capital of India in 1995 after Nationalist Party Shiv Sena came to power. The references to crime, politics, corruption, gangsters, religion and police are all real. The Hindustan Times explained, the Guy Tone story is fascinating because, in many ways, it is also the story of Bombay over the last 2 decades. Of the rise of Sacred Games was released on Netflix on Friday, July 6. The drama is based on the critically acclaimed 2006 novel of the same name by Vikram Chandra. The highly anticipated show is set in Bombay, which is present-day Mumbai, and follows a cat-and-mouse chase between policeman Sartai Singh, played by Saif Ali Khan, and notorious criminal Ganesh Guy Toned Nawazuddin Siddiqui. Netflix's official synopsis of the show reads, a policeman, a criminal overlord, a Bollywood film star, politicians, cultists, spies, and terrorists, the lives of the privileged, the famous, the wretched, and the bloodthirsty interweave with cataclysmic consequences amid the chaos of modern-day Mumbai. The 8-episode thriller follows the riveting journey of Sartai Singh, a seasoned, cynical police officer, and Anjali Mathur Radhikapt, an intelligence officer, to the center of a mysterious web woven the powerful criminal overlord, Ganesh Guy Toned. The plot twists and turns along the dark alleys of Mumbai, with Ganesh and Sartai tightening their grip on each other and staking everything on victory, including the city itself. All 8 episodes are available to watch and download on the global streaming site now. Episode 3 of Sacred Games is called A Tapi Vertapi and fans have been questioning its significance. We look at the meaning behind the title. Sacred Games on Netflix. How to watch Sacred Games online. Each episode of Sacred Games is titled with a unique Hindi name that relates to events that occur in each episode. Episode 3 of Sacred Games is named A Tapi Vertapi, which are the names of 2 demons from Hindu mythology. The naming of episodes with religious and mythological references is deliberate and creates an interesting paradox between religion and reality. Sacred Games openly challenges and criticizes religion, which contrasts with the largely religious population of India, who are either devout Muslims or Hindus. The themes of God and religion are prevalent throughout the book, however, the show intensifies these themes, often referring to them both as all-consuming and relating religion closely with politics, crime, wealth and murder. Sacred Games location. Where is Sacred Games filmed? Where is it set? Episode 3 A Tapi Vertapi is central to exposing this message. The legend of A Tapi and Vertapi is a metaphor for religion and how it can be a nurturing aspect of people's lives, but also destructive and sometimes deadly. Entertainment news site R explains, just like the demon brothers would invite tired travelers into their home, feed them a meal, and then destroy their souls, religion too invites naive devotees, satiates their lives, before holding their conscience hostage. The significance of these titles extends beyond the plot of the TV show. Censorship is strict in India both within its TV and film industry, however, as Netflix is a global streaming service, it is independent of these rules, which allows the actors to confront issues such as corruption, religion, politics, feminism and sex. Sacred Games on Netflix. What is the winter capital of Jammu and Kashmir? Netflix has not officially confirmed a second series of Sacred Games yet, but there is great potential for a second series. The original novel is 1,000 pages long, and Season 1 only covers approximately the first quarter of the book. To complete the screen adaptation of the novel, fans should expect at least 4 series. A second series will also depend on the show's success in attracting more viewers to Netflix both in India and across the globe. However, actor Saif Ali Khan, who plays police officer Sartai Singh, told DNA that shooting for Season 2 begins in September this year. The final episode of Sacred Games on Netflix, titled Yayati, culminates as the 25th day is soon approaching. At the beginning of the series, policeman Sartai Singh, played by Saif Ali Khan, received a phone call telling him he had 25 days to save his city. This led him to the missing criminal Ganesh Gaitonde Nawazuddin Siddiqui. Ganesh warns Sartai that everybody in the city will die apart from Trivedi, Kitaranjan Tripathi. In the final episode, it seems as if Sartai has gotten to the bottom of the attack plot. He has found the weaponry which is connected to the Home Minister Bipin Bosal, Girish Kulkarni. From this, the pieces together the relationship between Bipin, Ganesh and hired assassin Malcolm Morad, Luke Kenny. As the episode draws to an end, Sartai puts together the final clues left by Ganesh. There is a mandala on the floor of Ganesh's home, and underneath is a secret underground bunker containing gas masks and supplies to survive an attack which suggests a nuclear attack was being planned. Also in the bunker is a body tied up on a chair, supposedly the body of Trivedi. Sacred Games on Netflix. Release date, cast, trailer, plot. On the popular internet forum, Reddit, fans have been speculating whether Trivedi is actually dead. After all, Ganesh said he would be the only one to survive the attack which has not yet occurred. One fan theorized that Trivedi is not dead, but just heavily sedated. Eagle-eyed viewers have spotted a Geiger counter, which is a device used to measure radiation. One fan said, "I think Trivedi is supposed to wake up after the event and wait out the radiation, then eventually come out of the bunker." My question is, if Trivedi is alive, what's his purpose after he gets out of the bunker? Sacred Games on Netflix. Sacred Games ending explained. Other fans, however, are convinced the body is Trivedi. One fan posted on the site their belief that when Ganesh Gaitonde killed himself, he had Trivedi tied up in the bunker as revenge and Trivedi would be left to die. They wrote, "In the last episode there were 14 days before the nuke, that means 11 days had passed since Trivedi had been tied up. No way he could live that long with no food or water." Hopefully what happens to Trivedi is explored in the second season, if it is given the green light. Sacred Games episodes. Sacred Games episode names explained. Netflix has not made any official announcements about the second season of Sacred Games. A second series will depend on the show's success in attracting more viewers to Netflix both in India and across the globe. However, actor Saif Ali Khan has been teasing fans by dropping Season 2 hints in an interview with DNA. He revealed that shooting for Season 2 will begin in September this year. Sacred Games is based on the critically acclaimed 1,000-page novel of the same name by Vikram Chandra. Season 1 covers the first quarter of the book, and to complete the screen adaptation of the novel, fans are anticipating at least 4 series. When asked about being potentially occupied with Sacred Games on Netflix is based on the critically acclaimed novel of the same name by Vikram Chandra. The web series is set against 2 timelines. One timeline is set in present-day Mumbai and follows policeman Sartai Singh, played by Saif Ali Khan, and Anjali Mathur, Radhika Apte, who try to stop an attack on the city by chasing the criminal past of Ganesh Gaitonde Nawazuddin Siddiqui. The second timeline is set in 80s and 90s Bombay and follows the rise and fall of Gaitonde. The book and series make reference to notable events in India's history including the 1993 Bombay bombings and the Bofors scam. The show has been embroiled in a scandal for insulting former Prime Minister Rajiv Gandhi, with one character referring to him as a PS********. Gandhi took over as Prime Minister of India after his mother, Indira Gandhi, was assassinated in 1984. But what is the 1975 emergency under Indira Gandhi? What is the Sacred Games controversy about? Indira Gandhi rose to power between 1967 and 1971 as a central figure in the Indian National Congress Party. She was the first and has been the only female Prime Minister of India, and served from 1966 to 1977, and again from 1980 until she was assassinated by her own bodyguards in October 1984. The 1975 emergency was a state of emergency that was imposed by Prime Minister Indira Gandhi between June 25, 1975, and March 21, 1977. The emergency lasted for 21 months in total. A state of emergency allowed Prime Minister Gandhi the power to rule by decree, meaning she could surpass Parliament and implement her own laws. The emergency meant PM Gandhi could also suspend elections and to limited civil freedoms such as freedom of expression, right to peaceful assembly, and right to self-determination. The order was issued in response to a series of internal disturbances in the nation and external threats to the new Indian state, which became independent from Britain in 1947. Gandhi cited the war with Pakistan as a reason for the emergency order alongside the weak economy, which was suffering from an oil crisis and drought in the region. Is Sacred Games a real story? There had also been numerous internal uprisings against Gandhi's government. On top of that, there had been student protests known as the Navnirman movement, which led to the resignation of the Chief Minister of State Legislature Chimanbhai Patel. There were also assassination attempts on several leaders and the murder of the Railway Minister L.N. Mishra. The largest union in India, the Railway Employees Union, organized a national strike which was suppressed by Indira Gandhi's government and led to the arrest of thousands of employees. Indira Gandhi in 1975 was found guilty of misuse of government machinery for her election campaign, and India's High Court declared her election null and void. Sacred Games is based on which gangster? On June 24, she challenged the court's decision in the Supreme Court, which agreed to allow her to continue to remain as PM pending the outcome of her appeal. This led to large anti-government protests led by J.P. Narayan and Morarji Desai, who called for police to ignore orders to stop the protests. Later that day, a state of emergency was issued by President Fakhruddin Ali Ahmed under Article 352 of the Constitution. Within hours the press was censored, arrests of political opponents began, and alternative political parties were based. All elections were postponed throughout the emergency, which gave Gandhi's party the ability to alter the country's laws as they had the majority in parliament. She also put his son, Sanjay Gandhi, in charge of setting up a forced mass sterilization campaign to monitor population control. The program forcefully sterilized men, and between 1975 and 1977. According to the BBC, 6.2 million Indian men were sterilized in 1 year. Science journalist Mara Vistandahi said this was 15 times the number of people sterilized by the Nazis. In response to the emergency, there were resistance movements which had to work as underground organizations as they were banned by the emergency. The Sacred Games dropped on Netflix this month and is based on the 2006 critically acclaimed novel of the same name by Vikram Chandra. The novel was adapted and directed by Anurag Kashyap and Vikramaditya Motwan and is the first Indian Netflix original series. The show features Bollywood actors Saif Ali Khan and Nawazuddin Siddiqui alongside up-and-coming stars Radhika Apte and Kubra Sait. The web series is set against two timelines and spans 4 decades from the 70s to the present day. One timeline is set in present-day Mumbai and follows policeman Sartai Singh, played by Saif Ali Khan, and Anjali Mathur, Radhika Apte, who try to stop a deadly attack on the city by chasing the criminal past of gangster Ganesh Gaitonde, Nawazuddin Siddiqui. The second timeline is set in 70s to 90s Bombay and follows the rise and fall of Guy Toned. The book and Netflix series make reference to notable events in India's history, including the 1975 emergency and the Bombay bombings in 1993. The show has been embroiled in a political scandal for insulting the former Prime Minister Rajiv Gandhi. Ganesh refers to the Bofors scandal and shows footage of Gandhi being sworn in as Prime Minister after his mother's assassination in 1984. Ganesh explains the scandal and calls him dishonest. He also calls him a P** over his handling of the situation. But what is the Bofors scandal? The Bofors scandal was a political crisis that occurred between India and Sweden throughout the 1980s and 1990s. The Indian National Congress Party and the Indian Prime Minister Rajiv Gandhi were accused of being part of a bribery deal known as kickback in order to receive firearms from Sweden. In March 1996, a multi-million contract was signed by the Government of India and the Swedish arms company Bofors. A kickback is a form of negotiated bribery in which a person is paid commission or a reward to carry out the bribery. Therefore, it's more a collusion between two parties than forced bribery. Commissions for government contracts are illegal in India. In the contract, Bofors agreed to supply the Indian government with 410,155 mm howitzer field guns and a supply contract for double that amount, according to whistleblower Sten Windstorm, the former chief of Swedish police. The deal was exposed on Swedish state radio, revealing that in order to secure the deal, £30 million was paid to the Indian government and its associates. It was revealed that Bofors paid kickbacks to powerful figures including politicians and key defense officials in both Sweden and India and other countries to secure the deal, and many had participated in bribery, corruption, cheating and forgery. Journalist Chitra Subramaniam for The Hindu was able to secure 350 documents from Sten Windstorm that had recorded details of the payments, handwritten notes, meeting minutes and diary entries. On April 20, 1987, Rajiv Gandhi denied that kickbacks had been paid. Bofors were blacklisted in 1989 by India. This was then reversed in 1999 during the Kargil War between India and Pakistan. The middleman in the scandal was Ottavio Quattrocchi, an Italian businessman. He was close to Indian PM Rajiv Gandhi and helped secure deals between big businesses and the Indian government. The corruption led to the defeat of Prime Minister Gandhi's party Indian National Congress at the 1989 general elections. Rajiv Gandhi was assassinated on May 21, 1991. Whistleblower Sten Windstorm told media website The Hoot there was no evidence that he, Rajiv Gandhi, had received any bribe. But he watched the massive cover-up in India and Sweden and did nothing. Many Indian institutions were tarred, innocent people were punished while the guilty got away. In 1999, when the National Democratic Alliance came to power in India, charges were filed against Quattrocchi, Winchadha, Rajiv Gandhi, S. K. Bhavnagar and others. In 2002, the Delhi High Court quashed all proceedings regarding the Bofors scandal. In 2003, the quashing was reversed by the Supreme Court of India. However, the Indian National Congress returned to power in 2004, and the Delhi High Court removed all charges of bribery against Rajiv Gandhi and others. Quattrocchi was arrested numerous times in the late 90s and 00 seconds, including in Malaysia and Argentina. Each time the request for him to be extradited. Warning: this article may contain spoilers about Sacred Games on Netflix. Subhadra Devalaker, played by Rajshri Deshpande, is Ganesh Gaitone's Nawazuddin Siddiqui wife. There are two sides to Subhadra. She is completely devoted to Gaitonde, and through this, we get a sense of her innocence and vulnerability. On the other hand, she is a powerful figure who has a great influence on her husband. She first appears in the 4th episode, and through her character we see a weaker side to Gaitonde. Actress Rajshri Deshpande, who plays Subhadra, told Scrollin, "It is when Subhadra comes into Gaitonde's life that he first has this feeling that here is someone who can overpower him." Yes, he is fascinated with Cuckoo, Gaitonde's lover played by Kubra Sait, but with Subhadra, it is a relationship of dependence, care and understanding, a marriage. She is in charge when it comes to just the two of them. Initially, she feels no love for him. But when she falls in love, there is a complete shift in their relationship. If you notice, in the bedroom, she is on top of him. In episode 9, Subhadra is killed. The episode is titled Rudra, which is known in Hindu mythology as the personification of terror, and depending on context can be translated as the most frightening one. In response to her death, Gaitonde goes on a murderous rampage. Sacred Games on Netflix. Release date, cast, trailer, plot. Rajshri Deshpande is an Indian theatre, TV and film actress. She has an undergraduate degree in law and a postgraduate degree in advertising, both from Symbiosis College, Pune, India. She then went on to study for a diploma in filmmaking from Whistling Woods International in Mumbai, which led her to acting. Rajshri made her screen debut in thriller Talish in 2012, and went on to make a name for herself in Angry Indian Goddesses in 2015. She plays the role of Manju in BBC One's McMafia, which aired in January 2018. Rajshri is best known for her leading role in Sexy Durga in 2017, which was retitled as Durga due to tough Indian censorship rules. This is not the first time Rajshri has portrayed a role that challenges the censorship rules in the Indian film and TV industry. As Netflix is a global streaming service, it is independent of these rules, which allows the actors to confront issues such as corruption, religion, politics, feminism and sex. Rajshri has been praised for embracing of the nudity and sex scenes she has with Gaitonde, but has also faced criticism from viewers and has been subject to internet trolls taking the scenes out of context. She went on to say the same interview, "Gaitonde and Subhadra's relationship is an intimate one, so I completely got why the scene was necessary. Anurag sir even told me that I could tell him if I was uncomfortable. But I don't have such inhibitions. I'm portraying love, not degrading anything." Rajshri is also an activist and set up the Nabangan Foundation in India, which works with farmers, women and children to develop communities. Sacred Games. What happened at the end of Sacred Games on Netflix? Sacred Games is based on the 2006 critically acclaimed novel of the same name by author Vikram Chandra. Netflix's official synopsis of the show reads, "A policeman, a criminal overlord, a Bollywood film star, politicians, cultists, spies, and terrorists, the lives of the privileged, the famous, the wretched, and the bloodthirsty interweave with cataclysmic consequences amid the chaos of modern-day Mumbai." The 8-episode thriller follows the riveting journey of Sartai Singh, Saif Ali Khan, a seasoned, cynical police officer, and Anjali Mathur, Radhika Apt, an intelligence officer, to the center of a mysterious web woven the powerful criminal overlord, Ganesh Gaitonde. The plot twists and turns along the dark alleys of Mumbai, with Ganesh and Sartai tightening their grip on each other and staking everything on victory, including the city itself. Sacred Games. What are the names of Sacred Games episodes? What do they mean? Netflix has not yet confirmed a second series, but there is great promise for a second season. The first season covers approximately the first quarter of the 1,000-page novel, so fans can expect up to at least 4 seasons to complete the story. A second series will also depend on the show's success in attracting more viewers to Netflix both in India and across the globe. The actor said Ali Khan teased fans speaking to DNA when he confirmed shooting for Season 2 would begin in September this year. He also said on being potentially occupied with Sacred Games until 2020 that yes, we should be out with 1 season every year, if that's the way ahead. Sacred Games is available to watch on Netflix now. Warning: this article contains spoilers from Sacred Games on Netflix. Netflix dropped its rich and gritty adaptation of Vikram Chandra's epic novel Sacred Games earlier this month to rave reviews. All 8 episodes from Season 1 were dropped on the streaming platform worldwide in one go, allowing viewers to binge-watch them. Sacred Games Season 1 only covers the first quarter of the 1,000-page novel, and it's expected that there will be 3 more runs to complete the adaptation. Netflix hasn't officially confirmed whether Series 2 of Sacred Games will be happening, but it's looking positive for the drama, which is the service's first Indian original series. While nothing is yet set in stone, actor Saif Ali Khan, who plays police detective Sartai Singh, told DNA in an interview, "Yes, we should be out with 1 season every year, if that's the way ahead." He also